Fuck it, I'm gonna just have to hope. Peace to the family, peace to the family, peace to the family, peace to you and yours. This is your brother Red Pill reporting live and direct for another episode of Melanin Monday, episode number 46. Was really good. Peace to the family, peace to the family. All right. I'm trying to get this phone situated because I cannot hold a telephone all night. That's not gonna happen. So I'm I'm putting it up against this computer right here. So give me a minute. Matter of fact, let me play some music while y'all getting into the building. Let's see what we got. So that's what they say, that the gods in heaven, the man on earth say God is on high, but the angels in heaven say that God lives on earth. That means everything is waiting on one group of people. Beginning question. Resent me, my job eventually, but simply the Dodger century. Challengers racing at me like Dodger Hemis. Like officering me, Vietnam in the largest in me. The odds against me, then I opened up my mind. The chart for entry, the garage was empty. I was master Farage and Roger Bentley's. The God for centuries, I laugh at Satan. I receive affirmations. I run into fallen angels with aspirations of master masons. She rising to the top near the Appalachians. The evolution was bound to come. 42 revolution around the sun. Investor flows, no cholesterol. In this game, I'm the next to blow. Taking the throne back to Westeros. God bless the whole XNO. Whatever you do as a God, there is no chastisement. I'll explain to you. You got to stop thinking like a human and start thinking like a God. Let's go. Yeah. All the ancestors rising, the ancestors riding. All the ancestors inside. I'm the same tree, the Panthers was gone. I don't give a damn if you dying. Peaceful protest, the people so stressed. The migrants is giving me a migraine. The pirates, the pirate in the Caribbean underpost. The weather wars were metaphors. They come and drove, they come to probe what signs of life like Mars rovers. They guard poses, shining like the fraud's over. Exposure dynamite, know your spot. Avoid your plot. Shit spoils the pot. Royal they not. Royal they not. They spoil like shout out to Bobby Hemmett. Shout out to a legend. Shout out to Bobby Hemmett, to the master teacher. His birthday, he just had a birthday about a week ago. So I had to open up the episode with Bobby Hemmett, because his birthday was just a few days ago. So the power, shout out to that mighty Sagittarius right there, one of the master teachers. You feel me? Bobby Hemmett on the intro to the song off of the Twin album called Blue Nar. The title of that song is Blue Nar, featuring Red Pill and Blue Pillar, featuring special guest Bobby Hemmett. All right. So it was really good with the family. How's everybody doing tonight? Everyone in the building. Shout out to my moderator. Everybody shout out Melanin Brown, Empress Brown. Hit that one, you know what I mean? Give her, because she holds it down. She lets everybody know what's going on. The fact that she's so persistent and consistent showed this weekend in Newark, New Jersey, when it was a packed house, standing room only, when it came out in droves in the rain. The night of the Deontay Wilder fight, we were still up there giving the information out, and that was the pay-per-view. You feel me? Newark came out and showed enormous love at the Fear of a Black Planet Part 2 demonstration with Professor Griff, Blue Pill and Red Pill at the Source of Life bookstore. Shout out to Brother Greg. Shout out to his beautiful family. Shout out to all of the beautiful people in Newark, New Jersey. I felt like I was at home. It was a lot of love. It was an outpouring of love. We returned the favor
with an outpouring of love in a form of information, because information is love, especially if somebody's giving it to you in that spirit and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? When they're giving it to you with the, from the place that, it's based in love. It could be tough love, but it's definitely based in love. And sometimes the truth hurts. And sometimes the information hurts, but it's the truth. So they like it. They like their information uncut in Newark, and that's how we gave it to them. Now look, there was some technical difficulties. I got the video on YouTube. The professional cameraman, Blue Pill, was catching some footage, but I had the phone, the mobile phone, and I had my brother Haas from Philly. I said, yo, just live stream that so we could at least have a record of the demonstration, right? So there's a clip of it on this page, on the rebranded page. This page has a new name, family. I did this for the people. The ancestors have been working in our favor. They're conspiring for our success. So I was able to get the name Know the Ledge Media back. Somebody was holding it for a lot of years. I'm not even going to talk about it, but now I have my name back. Know the Ledge. That's the name of this channel that you're watching tonight, and it's thus forward. And KTL Media is the name of the website that I'm going to need everybody to go to after tonight's show and sign up and become a member on that website, because we have our own platform where we could put our own content, monetize our own content, blow our own content up, deal with our own advertisers, and all of these other things. Basically, exert our own power over our own intellectual property. You might not think that means anything, but I can't necessarily hold it against you. But at this end of the day, ignorance, it is what it is. But this is the age where content is king. Content is king. And you might not realize what that means, but for a content creator such as myself, who has over 800, that's counting with there's bots that could count it, over 800 titles on YouTube as we're speaking, different clips and whatnot of my content. Very rich content, because actually they put there's content that's even there's a stock market for content. So as the content becomes more valuable in its information, because it might have been something from '08 that spoke of something that's happening in 18, or it's something that it's content that is so timeless that it speaks to any time. It's just a nugget of wisdom. Henceforth, on the cover of this, on the thumbnail, you'll see I have a thing where I have a purple diamond right in the middle in the pineal, and I'm inside of a spa, and inside of this spa there's a pyramid, a gold pyramid with a king tut that's outside of that gold pyramid. When you go inside of the gold pyramid, it's a sauna, it's a heated rug, a heated floor, a heated walls. You're gonna be sweating, but there's also natural herbs. So you're inhaling all of these healing herbs into your system. I'm talking about serenity on a new level. So I was just there last night. You feel me? You have to treat your body good. You understand? Health is wealth. Health is wealth. I will never even call it pampering. You have to treat your machine. You have to treat this avatar. You have to treat the spacesuit. You feel me? It comes, self-love starts with you first. So even for a person such as myself, I need to be in these spas, or I need to be in these steam houses, or I need to be in these situations almost weekly, because I pick up a lot of stuff. I absorb so much. You have no idea. You have no idea whatsoever. And I'm not even gonna spare you the horror stories, but it's crazy. You know what I'm talking about? It's crazy. It's Norman Bates type shit going on out here. So, you know, I definitely recommend. But Newark, New Jersey, we have some collector items right here. I'm gonna do something for my 999 patrons. The first 10 new patrons that I get, y'all get this collector's item of this ticket, Fear of a Black Planet 2, okay? That we just did. This is a collector's item, you know what I mean? And we got these on deck. So That's for the first 10 to come and sign up with us. Those who have signed up with us, they've been sending me emails giving me thanks for putting up the footage that we had that I did for the Shifters event in DC. They got to see a clip of that, and they also got to see a clip of Red Pill when I was in Tampa, Florida. All right. So salute to all of my patrons. Y'all deserve all of the exclusives. Yeah, but shout out to Blue Pill too. I have a special announcement. Not even by the end of the show, by the middle of the show, where we're going to be talking about an upcoming lecture that we're going to be doing this week, like very soon. I'm talking about a meet in a very, very soon. And this lecture is going to be very powerful, and it's going to deal with one of the topics that we'll be touching on tonight, and that's George Bush. Okay, that's George Bush. We're going to unpack this thing. All right. We're going to unpack this thing. Okay. Some serious things are going on. It just depends on what lens are we looking at it through. How are we seeing these things? This is about controlling the narrative. This is paying attention. This is Fear of a Black Planet. You understand? This is Fear of a Black Planet. I mean, to speak about how the ancestors work and just put things into your lap, and how the ancestors, when they say, oh, the ancestors are conspiring for your success. Well, I have living proof on many occasions of the ancestors continuously aspiring for the success of the Law 44, of Fear of a Black or More Messiah. You know what I mean? When it comes to prophesizing, when it comes to the soothsaying, when it comes to making things that have been spoken come to life, so nobody can ever say, oh, niggas be talking too much. Not, you can't say that to somebody that speaks things into existence. That shit is moot. It doesn't even mean anything. If you have somebody who could speak things into existence, who could talk things and then they happen, you know what I'm talking about? You got to pay attention to that. You got to pay attention to that. And that's not bragging or boasting. That is just being honest. That's being forthcoming. You know what I mean? So, this whole Bush thing, like December 1st, the day of our lecture, because remember, I was watching my father. Matter of fact, I was at my father's crib. He was watching the news. They was frying Bush. I mean, they was frying Trump. They was cooking them with the whole Mueller investigation, and then he's overseas and they're ignoring him. Then they said breaking news. It was past midnight. It was the 1st of December. I said, wow, that's interesting. Why would you look at the irony, how the great divine speaks through signs, the synchronicity of it all? We done went through No Nut November, and then we found ourselves in No Bush December. You know what I'm talking about? No Nut November, hold your nut, World Star put out a challenge and everybody was rolling with it. No Nut November. You know what I'm talking about? It coincided with my Scorpion King challenge, but I wasn't telling nobody no nuts. And that shit was going viral. And then we go into No Bush December. So if this is how December is going to start, it's going to be a very interesting way to close out this very interesting monumental calendar year that we have in front of us called 2018. Do you agree? This is a very interesting year. A lot of things have happened. A lot of things have been revealed. A lot of things have been repeated. You know what I'm talking about? A lot of things have been exposed. A lot of things have fallen, and a lot of things have risen. A little more falling and rising, but still things are falling and things are rising simultaneously. Nothing is happening at once. Duality is at play. You know what I'm talking about? This shit is balancing. Where's this book? I recommended this book to the family. I got a lot of emails from people who pay attention and don't just think that I'm out here rambling or just talking for my health. You feel me? And they hit me back like, son, that shit is a jewel right there. You shouldn't have even gave that one away. You feel me? So the power of the super mind, the power of knowing how this ancestor realm is cooking. All I see is plates. You know what I'm talking about? They air frying niggas right now. It's an air frying going on. All I see is plates. Especially based off of the research that I was doing for this lecture coming up. the Fear of a Black Planet 2 on the condition of these people that we are calling superior, the condition, the living, the birth rate conditions, the health conditions, the mental health conditions, all kind of things. Like we're given, we if we understand how energy works, if you understand how consciousness works, if you understand how you putting all of your power in your motherfucking faith, G, you know what I'm saying, and your superiority, and some weirdos who are at a negative birth rate, who are whose mortality rate, look at this, whose mortality rate as a race skyrocketed. I have the graph. If I flip the camera around and show you, because I'm almost finished with this ebook that I'm releasing at the end of December for the Fear of a Black Planet 2, the media manipulation on the black mind. Okay, this shit is bonkers. So their birth rate, the death rate, I mean the mortality rate. And don't get in your feelings if I speak about the mortality rate of another race. You sit through every single programming and every commentator and every talking head and every lemon, you know what I'm saying, Don Lemon drop in the world who decides that they're going to Christian themselves as the news, and you allow them to tell you about what your rates are, what's going on in your backyard. So I'm a researcher. I'm sharing information that otherwise probably could either been sold to you, but you know, it's out there, but it's just not where we are used to going to see it. But there's a crisis taking place right now. And in that crisis, there's a mentality that is taking over. That mentality that's taking over could only be akin to the mentality of what I saw in a series called Game of Thrones with the arch evil type character, the White Walkers, right? And what was his name? The Night Lord, I think. What's the main dude's name? But and also mixed with something like the Purge. So this is very interesting. This is research that we have to get into. How is it that the ancestors prophesized something about 2012, meaning the ending of the world? How is it that they pinpointed that date and everybody was aware of that time? Everybody was focusing on something happening, the end of some world or whatever. But then when you look at the charts, it's 2012 in the fucking, it was like the year before it was at this height. Then on 2012, the shit drops underneath average. And it's been declining. So now you have these movements where these groups are calling themselves white supremacists, and their call of arms is, you will not replace us. You will not replace us. Get them a patch from Supreme. I heard they got Fear of a Black Planet over there, and put that shit on their goose, because that's a fear. That's the translation, because they got the Google earbuds that could translate the lingo, so you could understand what El Padrino is saying before he puts a hit on you, before he cooks you and whatnot in Tijuana with a tortilla. You know what I mean? You could translate that they got the drop on you and whatnot. Narcos 4. So if you don't understand, if you don't know the language that is being used, then you're going to be lost. You don't need the Google Translate earbuds to understand what the fuck is going on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's crazy out there. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy out there. These people have an inherent genetic. It's not personal. It's not about racism. It's not about what he don't like people. Has nothing whatsoever. You have to remove your emotions. You have to remove anything, any preconceived notions of what you've been told. People who stand on the truth of science and don't apologize for what they know to who they know it to. You know what I mean? I'm not going to apologize for knowing certain truths. I speak truths about everybody. But when it comes to these people that we're calling the Caucasian and whatnot, the white man, the Neanderthal, the pilgrim, the colonizer, the missionaries, the merchants, right? Remember the three M's, right? These are the three that you have to look out because they come in successions. This is from an old playbook. This is from an old playbook. They've been using this ever since. And they're using it right now in what you call gentrified communities and places like that, where they've basically said, if this is the war on drugs, if this is the war on poverty, if this is the war on motherfucking terror, they're like, yo, once we defeat the people who are holding down the fort, or who we were, you know what I mean? There was a war. They have a target. If there's a war on poverty or a war on drugs, drugs don't sell themselves. So there's a war on the drug dealers, okay? And the war on the drug dealers' families. Thus, there's a war in the drug dealers' neighborhoods, the urban centers of, where they domicile. And when they get defeated, when enough of them get locked up, when enough of them get caught up in the casualties of the games that people play, or the games that these alphabet boys or the people who deal with entrapment, you know, the trappers, the same ones who were fur trappers, pelt trappers, you know what I mean, slave catchers. These are these are the same ones. These are trappers. They lay traps, and a lot of people get caught in those traps. You dig what I'm saying? A whole bunch of people, and that's where we find ourselves right now. You know what I'm talking about? That's where we find ourselves right now. You know, that's where we find ourselves, in a place where nobody really has the answers. You just watching the shit spiral out of control, and we're trying to articulate the Holocaust in the best way that we can, and then hope that this shit could put us on a yellow brick road to where we could motherfucking, you know what I mean? Where we could sneak up cipher. They just want about this bitch so they could go ahead and get in them and get an invite to a few clubs or something. You know what I'm talking about? They just want the celebrity of this. Like Phil Valentine warned against celebrity. Bobby Hemmett warned against celebrity. Don't do this shit for celebrity. Don't do it for fame. Fame is nothing. 100,000 people watching you and all of this stuff, it means nothing at the end of the day. Don't get caught up in that shit. You know what I'm talking about? Do not get caught up in it just to have your dopamines released and become addicted to it, because it's very addicting. Like I said before, these apps are designed for teens. These apps were designed by scientists, neurologists, people who study social engineering and behavior, also marketing and things of that nature. They know what they're putting together. So Snapchat, Instagram, all of these things are designed for teens. We still interact on them and engage in them of all ages and whatnot, but it's specifically designed to bring about teenage behavior types, okay? Or what they identify as the behavior types, the social behavior types of people within a certain age bracket. So it becomes the narcissistic personality disorder, the addiction to all of these things, dealing with social media. You dig what I'm saying? The withdrawal from regular society in a somewhat android, a somewhat into a somewhat robotic state. You feel me? Into a somewhat robotic state where people are becoming so dehumanized or so desensitized to the real world, and they just caught up on a Wreck-It Ralph shit. You know what I'm talking about? These niggas is on a Wreck-It Ralph shit, yo. They trying to break the internet. You feel me? They trying to break the internet. And that's not what it's about. You know what I'm saying? That is not what it's about. You know, this attention economy shit. If you're not using it for what it needs to be, what it's supposed to be used for, then you're just wasting your time. You know. But for those who are using it to power up, for those who are using it to build themselves, to big themselves up, to build their brands, to get their information out there, to get their businesses out there, to get their messages out there, to get all of these things, because everybody's supposed to be winning. This is not a one-man thing. This is not a, oh, you know, one nigga gotta, no, everybody's supposed to be winning. This is your shit. Stand on it. You feel me? Stand on that shit. I'll be damned if I let somebody stand on mine. Yeah, so Newark will be coming back real soon. You feel me? We'll be coming back very soon. I appreciate all of the love. I appreciate all of the support. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. You feel me? You know, the people are beautiful. The people want they want information. They hungry for the information, but more so than information, they just want to be in an environment where the energy is at a certain level that they're not used to every day in their lives. They want to come into a sacred place. Like I said, wherever I'm at, that's a sacred place. Wherever I'm at, where there's a lecture going on, I consider that sacred grounds. You feel me? Because it's a whole bunch of transformation. It's a whole bunch of magic taking place. It's a whole bunch of portals opening up. You feel me? It's a lot of negative ions in the air, billion ions in the air. So I'm surrounded by billionaires. There's a trillion ions in the air. I'm surrounded by trillionaires. Okay, all possibilities are multiplied by 10 to the 12th power. The shit is quantum. So whenever we in the building, it's quantum. And if anybody came amongst any event where the gods is in the building and the goddesses is in the building and it's more than two of us, shit, you know what I'm talking about. The energy is charged up. The air is electrified. The shit is magnetic. You feel me? You could smoke an L and think about a Bentley and that shit'll pull up on you. Like a Uber, talking about skirt, you know. So that's a fear of a black planet. That's the fear of a black planet. That's the fear that George Bush had. That's the fear that Ronald Reagan had. That's the fear that Richard Nixon has. That's the fear that Bill Clinton has. That's the fear that Hillary Clinton got. The fear of a black planet, the fear of a black or more Messiah, the fear of the messianic ones. Talk to me nice. If you don't see evidence of that at this day and time or this juncture in the journey, then you may have just woken up. You be considered what is known as woke. And I won't hold that against you if that applies to you. But if you've been in this shit for more than 2 weeks, my nigga, you got to be out of your cotton picking mind if you don't see it for what it is. Don't try to get all esoteric and deep on us. You feel me? Let's not make this deeper than what it is. It's the fact that we have potential, and the potential that we have is being given the opportunity to make itself known and to manifest and to demonstrate. That's all this is. It's nothing else more. Take it from me. When you put in the work speaks for itself. It's gonna move. You're gonna disrupt. You're gonna make shit pop, my nigga. There's a whole bunch of people that's out here with me on the floor. We out here dunking shit. We making moves. We're making things happen. And this is history being written in real time. I could say that in every single motherfucking ounce of my DNA based off of what I've already known from a higher place, not my intuition, which is also at a higher place, but from what I've known on, definitely from a higher source. Shout out to everybody that's brave enough or, that's ready to be a part of history because they know that the possibilities are endless. They know that the possibilities are endless. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just a good thing. I went to the spa last night, y'all. I went to a spa. Look, don't judge me. I went to a Korean spa. It's there ain't no more, ain't no look, and ain't no mom and ain't no mom and pop and ain't no mom and pop spas. They don't even got no Dominican spas. There's a Korean spa in K-Town and Jersey B. You know what I'm talking about? And I was up in that piece, and they have amethyst. They got domes built out of amethyst. They got domes built out of crystals. They got domes built out of yellow clay. I'm talking about it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing. You know what I'm saying? It's mind blowing. So I gotta, I gotta repair my temple, man. I gotta sit in the hot tub and do all of these things. Like I gotta sit in the motherfucking dome and sweat out all of these toxins and things of that nature. So I came out feeling real good this morning. You know what I mean? Came out feeling real good about myself. So if you live in a place where you could get yourself to a spa, or you could get yourself to a sweat lodge, or you could get yourself to a place where you're just in, you're in a meditative, relaxed, but mostly hot. Like you have to sweat. Like my sister Ajna, who just celebrated to her, you know what I'm saying? She said that the universe, they want sodium. The universe wants sweat. The universe wants tears. The universe wants sodium. They want blood, sweat, and tears. They respond to salt. You know what I'm talking about? Salt. Tears, sweat. That's an activative principle. Blood is an activative principle. You saw American Gods, the first episode. They showed you got to shed blood. These deities want blood. They react to blood and also the elements, but sodium as well, salt. So you got to put in the work. This shit is not I Dream a Genie. Niggas, but I think niggas they was streaming, they was binging on I Dream a Genie. They just think they could wiggle their nose. Takes work. This is hard work. This is hard work. This is work that I can't write this shit on a resume. You can't write. This is not a fucking job title. This is a lifestyle. This is King Sauna, Liddy, shit, Liddy. I be treat yourself. Don't cheat yourself. You know what I'm talking about? Treat yourself. Don't cheat yourself. Go to Groupon. You know. So yeah, man. The work is being done. The work is being done. We got something coming up this week. Me and Blue Pill. We got a monumental lecture. I think we might stream it through ktlmedia.com. Y'all need to go over there and sign up. We might do our first live stream through ktlmedia.com. All right. The lecture that I'm talking about, that me and Blue Pill will be doing, is what I've been building up to tonight when I was recapping this George Bush situation. It's very important that the proper information is released. The information to keep our people focused on real history, real occurrences, not the Mandela effect, not what they're doing with this enormous whitewashing propaganda campaign where they're cleaning up old Georgie Porgy. They got that nigga, you know how when you go through the drive-through and they hit you with the motherfucking spray guns, they spraying him down. They got that nigga on wipe me down status. They're wiping him down. They're absolving him of all of his sins. Many things this is what was done in the past to masters. This is what was done to pedophiles. This is what was done to dictators and all kind of heinous motherfucking people in history. They were allowed to commit heinous acts, war crimes, acts of barbarism, all of these things. And then they were allowed to grow old. And then those who were in power as a result of their barbarity and as a result of all of the things that they've done that certain people deem negative, what do these people do? They clean them up. You know what I'm talking about? That's how the mafia do. That's how the mafia do it. They clean them up. That's how kings used to do it. You had kings who were tyrants, straight dictators. But then they live out their terms. They bring in another dictator that's more of a dictator to them. So by the time they make their transition, their transgressions are not as serious because it has now mutated into a level of complete dark age anarchy, or inquisition type of torture, and people usually call that murder capitals and things of that nature. They rebranded it and renamed it. but it's still the same thing. It's still the same frequency. You know what I'm talking about? It's still the same thing. So, what up, Chi-Town? Of course the rap game is like that. Remember, we're dealing with formulas. There is it's an algorithm. It's being applied to different industries. It's almost like when you write a business plan. You know what I'm talking about? It's almost, when you go into corporate and they have these when you go into franchises and they have the franchise book, it's already structured out. They have a curriculum. It's already scientifically, the shit's been studied and researched. That's what they're doing. They're perfecting the matrix. They're perfecting their algorithm. They're perfecting whatever it is that they're doing. The matrix upgrades itself what, every 6 years or something, or every 6 neos. But the matrix upgrades itself based off of what Neo is doing. And the neophytes, the people, those are the people who are waking up. Do you not think that they are shaking in their boots, utterly terrified, that because they know black people are waking up? And you might not think that that means anything, but you don't understand the influence of who we are around the world and what we have upon the minds of the planet, the global family. You know what I'm talking about? The people who know how to see the people who are light seekers, the people who can read energy, the people who can see auras, the people who can receive, those who are receptive to the truth. You know what I'm talking about? And you don't have to have, you could be wearing any color avatar. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You could be wearing any color avatar, any color spacesuit. It comes in all colors. Light beings that come in all colors. Those who are receptive to the information, to the truth, to the light, to the knowledge, to the wisdom. Come on, they come from every single walk of life. There's no book. Look at this. Look at this experiment. You see, I opened the book. I got melanin on my hand. It didn't lock on me. It didn't push my hand away. You know what I'm saying? The book is open. It's there for me. It's, you know what I mean? So information is available to everybody. You can't restrict someone from receiving it. There are caretakers of our information. There are people who are known as custodians, and they held our information and then they gave it back to us in the form of books and lectures, the Manly P. Halls of the world, the Napoleon Hills of the world, and things of that nature. You understand? There's a lot of Europeans who, Richard Smith, Peter Moon, there's a lot of Europeans who held on to the information, were custodians of the information, preserved some of the information, did not deal with whitewashing of the information, and they put it in books or they put it in movies and scripts, or they became the source in which the movie writers or the writing teams get their information from. And then they make that information, they put characters and storylines to the original source information. Thus, they'll give you a character and it bears resemblance to a Heru, and it bears resemblance to a Tahuti or the Asaurian myth, or something out of Sumerian myths and whatnot. Yes, because that's the source, that's the foundation, that's the underlying DNA that people have picked up, and then they build on top of it. It's almost like architecture. That's a formula. Going back to formulas, this whole thing is ran off of formulas. You should be getting in touch with how to get in touch with the formulas. You need to have some conversations. We got consultations. Go ahead and holler at us. Tap in. Come and talk to us. Talk to me nice. We got consultations. We got formulas. We got the codes. You know what I'm talking about? You need your formulas. That way you can see through this thing. And it's touch. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let your antenna. I'm getting downloads. You know what I mean? When you let your crown grow, you get your downloads. You know what I'm talking about? So that's, be receptive. If I could leave you with anything tonight, it's to study or focus or go and research what is receptivity. What is it to be receptive? And then focus on that. You know what I'm saying? Focus on that. You know, Tupac. Look, here we go with the. Here we go. This is how the universe also works. This is called the law of polarity or the law of opposites. You're all opposing views, so never feel offended if you see somebody say Tupac had a bald head and he got all kind of downloads before 29. I do agree. You know what I'm talking about? I didn't say if you don't have hair on your head, you're not gonna receive downloads. I didn't say that your shit was a call-up router, that you got dial-up, that you don't have 5G. You feel me? I didn't say that. You can still have 5G. Your shit can still be connected. As a matter of fact, I believe that if you have no hair on top of your crown, that's definitely giving it direct access to the motherfucking source. Like you're really in touch with the with you know with them downloads. So it's either or. But what I do know is those who have locks growing down their backs are retaining a untold amount of kinetic and potential energy and memory and all kind of things in those locks, in those hair locks, and your hair has all kind of silicone and it's a organism. It's an organism within itself. It's a life. It's alive. My shit ain't fried and whatnot. Like, you feel me? My shit is not fried. You know, I got my shit looking like I look like my nigga from Narcos 4. Rafa. My nigga Rafa. You know what I'm talking about? I'm Diego Calderon out this piece. But yeah, going back to what me and Blue Pill are gonna be presenting this week. The name of the title of the lecture is the three-headed monster. Okay, let me see. And it's going to focus on the three wars that they have initiated against our people. And these three wars are definitely responsible, or if you say, when people be like, damn, what happened to black people? Like, everybody's so bewildered as to what happened, or everybody's so bewildered as to, yo, what the fuck, like, what happened with black people? Yo, like, why are they so behind? Like, what happened overnight? Like, where did this come from? Or, we didn't get any warning, or, shit like that. What if there's wars being waged against you and you don't even know that you're at war? But these wars have real life casualties. They have complete departments, budgets. They have their championships. You feel me? Like, what if that was the case? What if there were real wars, like the war on poverty was really a war on poverty, people who they identified as poverty stricken? What if the war on drugs were really on black neighborhoods where drug dealers were selling drugs? What if the war on terror is really on the terror on black people on the motherfucking land, that the homeland terror, the war at home is what they called it. Okay? What if the war is against the black messiahs on this in the wilderness of North America? What if there's a war on terra firma, like Dr. Phil Valentine said many years ago? What if there's a war on the terra firma? Because that's what it's looking like. There's all kind of assaults that have been deemed lone wolf attacks. And these people are slick. They're not going out in cells and whatnot. They're not going out to catch bodies in groups. They're doing it on some lone man wolf shit, on solo missions like they're doing the military and tagging people. And because law enforcement is in on it, and the DA and all of them, people are definitely in on the fix. So they're not tying in any of these shooters with each other. Nobody knows anybody. Nobody ever ran across nobody. Nobody's following no one on fucking Twitter or Instagram. None of these shooters, these active shooters, these 360 shootings this year in America. You know what I mean? In North America, the 300 plus shootings, you can Google that. The mass shootings, not just regular niggas clapping. I'm talking about mass shootings, AR-15, shooting down schools, running up in all kind of places. That's what I'm referring to. 300 plus. Nobody knew each other. Like niggas is so antisocial that nobody ran across their path. They didn't run. They wasn't in the convention. We buy white. You know what I mean? They wasn't at We Buy White convention. You mean to tell me that none of these niggas know each other? Nobody's following each other on Twitter. You know what I'm talking about? None of it's retarded. It's retarded. These are all connected cells going out doing ops. They catching one by one, but it's still symbolic ops because the media, they'll beef up the story and blow it up, and it becomes a W for their side because there's no convictions that are coming with it. There's nothing coming with it. There's damn near sometimes there's no arrest that come with it. You know what I'm saying? It's just a joke when you get into the courts, which are not reformed, which are actually, you know, these are in the Moors have tried to tell the people for centuries, okay, that these are battlefields, these are battlegrounds that you step into. This is where it goes down at. And they've only been trying to prepare people with some form of defense. Even if you get taken down, even if it don't work in your favor at that time, it really beats having your head down saying yes ma'am, yes sir, and not being able to say a word at sometimes with everything hanging on the line. Over your everything is on the line right there. And you're at your most defenseless and hopeless state. Do you know how mentally debilitating that is? Rather than if you fucking have your chin up and then you're fighting for your goddamn, you're standing on your square and you're standing on your truths. It's just a different feeling, you know. But shout out to everybody who, whatever, if anybody went through what they went through and they day in their life, nobody's here judging you. You know what I'm saying? What we're trying to do is stop people from having that experience because, it's other things to do in life. There's better things to do with your superpowers. There's better things to be doing with your intellectual property. There's better things to be doing with all kind of stuff, with your finances. There's better things to be doing with your attention because you pay for your attention. You feel me? You pay with your attention. So what you're paying attention to is it's almost like a currency right now because we live in the attention economy. So if you're following somebody and watching them 8 hours out of the day, 3 hours out of the day, you're always on their page scrolling. What did they eat? What color they wearing today? Let me see what kind of bundle they're wearing. Let me match up the bundles and whatnot. Let me match up the lipstick. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put my Fashion Nova on with Cardi. You know, living out what is known as celebrity culture. And I'm not here to judge because sometimes people have no choice because that's all they've been taught. That's how they grown up. That's what they've been introduced to. That's the only thing that they know. You know what I'm talking about? I will never judge anybody based off of where I'm at in life and how I see things and how I do things. Cause nigga, I indulge in Ratchet Mondays. Let's be clear. It's been a very long time, but nigga, I had my popcorn, you know what I'm talking about? And my sip of Henny, and I was indulging. So I know what it is, you know. But what I do know is what it's been doing to the mentality and the psyches of our brothers and our sisters and the babies. Has to be, the shit has to be decoded. It has to be, somebody has to be almost ridiculed or in a sense, when they make parody of something or when they ridicule it, they take the strength of it away. They show the buffoonery of it or the coonery of it, and then they make people truly see what's the fucking how minstrel it is by doing parody. That's something that may have to happen because our daughters and our brothers and our sisters and the youth especially, they're actually taking the scripted reality that's being sold to them, right? With a purpose. The producers have a purpose behind scripting certain storylines and certain realities that are not even real. It's been on so many morning shows. All of these reality show TV rejects are saying the same things. Yo, that shit wasn't real, man. It was rehearsed, y'all. We was reading the script, man. We was leading the people astray. They had us looking stupid. They promised us one thing, and then when they edited it, they just played us because they have control of our fucking images. We signed them all away because we didn't know how to read the contracts in the beginning. That's how it goes all the way around. So these shows are doing a lot more damage then I haven't seen a show where the group of sisters who don't fight each other, and not necessarily at happy hour, but even if it's at happy hour, there's no threats of violence, no forms of violence. There's none of that. You understand? And these sisters are definitely trailblazing by the fact that they are living in successful, they have successful relationships, they have successful businesses. You dig what I'm saying? They have healthy relationships, they have healthy businesses. You know, like where's the shows about that? We need to see what that conversation is about. We need to know what these sisters are eating for breakfast. That's who I would rather my daughter watch, to see her lifestyle and her living routine and whatnot. Like, how do you juggle all of these income streams? How do you juggle all of these businesses? How do you juggle spirituality with corporate America, with, just being in the streets? All of these things could be explored in storylines, and it does not show up in these Greco-Roman LBGT run, right? Because they're the ones behind the scenes writing the scripts, dealing with the image, dealing with the makeup, dealing with the hair, right? Dealing with a lot of the creative process. So you don't see these storylines ever fucking hatching. And I'm saying that it needs to hatch immediately, because our people need to see that. Our people need to see that. So Papoose and Remy Ma having a wedding and all of that, that's good. That's cute, you know, but there needs to be a change. That's why we got KTLmedia.com. In the near future, when things work their way out and we get the 999 Patreons, you know what I mean? Shout out to my patrons out there. When we get the 999 hashtag 999 Patreon, when we get that 999, then original programming all day. Content is king. Original programming all day. I could just go on my Instagram timeline and get a whole bunch of actors and actresses. You know what I'm talking about? It's 8 million stories out there. There's so many stories to tell, so you can't run out of scenarios and stories. So that's what the future holds. That's my vision. I have visions that we'll be sharing, but that's what my future holds, you know. So I'm not gonna sit around and talk about what they're doing and how they're hypnotizing our people this weekend. And we were just speaking about the hypocrisy with the music labels, um, specifically in the Takashi 69 situation. I'm talking about, we were talking about the fact that the head of his music label, whose name is Elliot Grange, right? Rhymes with strange. The head of his music label called Grange Music, his name is Elliot Grange. This is the behind the scenes owner, not the manager, right? Not Treyway Shotty, but the owner of the label, the Trippy Red and Takashi 69 is signed to. This is the same manager who was in the restaurant in New York City when they had the shootout that they arrested Shotty about later on down the line, right? This is the same manager. The sound Lucian, and it sounds familiar, is because Lucius from Empire, who has the gay sons, who is very ruthless, is modeled after Lucian. Lucian is number two most powerful power player in music industry for the year of 2018, according to, if it wasn't Billboard, it's the other high publication, right? Lucian Grange is not just the CEO of Universal Music Group, but he's the CEO of every single music label that falls under Universal Music Group, called UMG. The umbrella that UMG casts is global. It is everywhere that music is sold, performed, artists, billions are being made, trillions are being siphoned off, like it's like the fucking the count room in Casino when they used to skim off the top. They cooking the books all over in this music game. Trillions get skimmed. You feel me? Trillions get skimmed from this thing, and our people receive, like Jay-Z said, and what's free. We need to remix that too. What's free to you? Like he said, they give us the intestines of a pig. That's the only thing people in the rap industry is eating, the pig intestines, the pig's ass version of this pie, that their own talents and skills, their raw talent, their black diamond potential, their black diamonds, because that's what our people are. That's who we are. They're not even getting a piece of the fucking crust of the pie. It's so scary. They're not even getting the crust of the pie. So you think I'm trying to run into the music industry and get underneath somebody's wings who's just out here to rape somebody? People making real money out there and they got real good contracts and there's some real good people around them. These are even people who are, quote unquote, the top fives. So, you know, it's all about integrity. It's all about character at the end of the day. Black men and women in the middle of the war on poverty, in the middle of the war on drugs, in the middle of the war on terror. Like we got to understand who we are in relationships to these wars that were declared by sitting presidents, not congressmen, sitting presidents. And when we do the lecture and we break down and we show the family what these wars, the policies that these wars enacted, did you know that the war on poverty enacted what you know as welfare? Do you know the war on poverty enacted what you know as Medicaid? Do you know the war on poverty enacted and it started and began what you know as No Child Left Behind and shit like that? These are programs, mind you, that have definitely been utilized to trick and to deceive and to do all kind of malady. They enacted the Job Corps program. Now, for all of my brothers and sisters that was in Job Corps, these was the first niggas that I knew to sell crack. Some of them. So I don't know what Job Corps was turning people to mini moguls and whatnot, but there's a lot of horror stories that came out of Job Corps too. One of the things that people got out of the result of Job Corps is that they got to live amongst white people. That was a lot of people from the hoods. They came back saying, "Yo, I was able to live with white people," and like that shit was weird, but it was fun at the same. It was fun at the same time because you know all you know is how you live. Shit. And all you know about white people is what you see on TV. So when you live amongst them, you like, oh shit, this is some interesting shit. Like they're different for real, for real. You feel me? But some people like different though. You can't judge. Like some black people is into they've been here so long on this planet. They used to being around so many niggas in all of their incarnations that they're gonna be drawn to what is known genetically and biologically is different. You understand what I'm saying? You can't judge people for that. Like you can't hold that against nobody. I will never hold nobody for that. If that's what you do, my G, look, that's what you do. That's on you. It's a DNA thing, I think, because some of us have a lot of hidden DNA that's already genetically, the epigenetics starts kicking in, and that shit goes online when they and you don't gotta have blue eyes and straight hair and be a fucking red bone, you know what I mean? Or wild light skin to have European blood or Caucasian Neanderthal blood. It's a difference than European blood because the Grimaldis and all of these black African tribes, they were up and down Europe for time immemorial. Like just having European blood does not necessarily elect you as being a European because there's a lot of black or African or melanated beings in the on that continent. A whole lot of them, a whole lot of them. Shout out to my Vegas family. We will be in Las Vegas. Let me just hit a little quick commercial. We will be in Las Vegas, February 20th to the 23rd, with Professor James Smalls and the real Rick Ross, right in the Blue Pill in Las Vegas, Nevada. All right. That's where magic happens. Every time I've been to Vegas, it's been magical. Facts. Every single time. Every single time in Vegas was a movie. You know what I'm talking about? Every single time. Oh yeah, this was a classic, y'all. We packed out Newark. We packed it out. Professor Griff bodied it, of course. Opened up. I came on second. I bodied it. Then Blue Pill ended it off. He bodied it. You know what I'm talking about? It was from 6 to 9, but we went on to like 11. And then we was out of there by midnight. Then we got to see the end of the Deontay Wilder fight, where there was a draw with him and Tyson Fury. The brother who was beefing up Deontay Wilder, he was hitting us with that motherfucking with that Dragon Ball Z type shit. You know what I'm talking about? He was on his gorilla shit when he was getting that Radio Raheem, the black coon, the black dude that was cooning, talking about, excuse me, you said your people were at war. He was like, nigga, our people. And he took the glasses, you know, when the glasses came off, he was about to go in. He was like, he was going in. So he had a fight. He went all 12 rounds with the white boy Tyson Fury. You see Tyson, that nigga was built like SpongeBob. He had a weird fucking shape, yo. He was just mad water weight. You know what I mean? Like a fucking, like a grizzly, like if they shaved the polar bear and whatnot, he's just a polar bear start boxing and shit. That's what that nigga looked like. And Deontay Wilder, he was getting lit up though. I didn't see the whole fights, but goddamn it, I looked at the motherfucking clips and whatnot. They gave the motherfucking they tattooing his ass. I'm surprised he didn't come out looking like motherfucking Tekashi 6ix9ine with 3 or 4 face tats, because that nigga was definitely tattooing him. Bing, bing, bing. The white boy was tagging him, but then he knocked him down twice. So that enacted a draw. So now they get to fight again. They're gonna have a big rematch. I witnessed something that I can't unsee. The white guy, Tyson Fury, kissed Deontay Wilder, like not a tongue kiss or nothing, and not, you know, not on some affectionate funny guy shit, but he did kiss him nonetheless. His lips did touch the brother. You feel me? His lips did touch the brother after they fought. And I had a problem with that. I know what niggas you talking about sportsmanship, but I'm not kissing a nigga who I said I was at war with 400 years. The war ain't even over, nigga. You had a draw. So what are you doing kissing niggas on pay-per-view? Niggas didn't pay for that. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas paid to see a knockout. Niggas was paying to see a knockout. Niggas didn't pay to see a makeout. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas ain't pay to see makeup to break up. Yeah. Yeah, that's not gangster. You know, I like my coffee with no cream, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? I need some more gangster shit in my life. I just saw Narcos 4. Niggas don't be kissing it out, bro. You know what I'm talking about? I just saw Narcos 4. Niggas was ruthless. We don't kiss it out, family. We don't do that. You know? That's that font. See, there it goes. That these lines are not established enough, man. We don't have these motherfucking street codes. We don't have this shit lined up. We not thinking as a group no more. There's no organized thought. There's no organization. Nigga, Buju Banton is coming out December 8th. He said, boom, bye, bye, my niggas. You know what I'm talking about? There's nobody's following protocol. Buju is coming home. Gargamel. I said in the rhyme, free Gargamel. I got midgets to kill, nigga. Gargamel is coming home. Drive ah. Boom, bye, bye, nigga. So, you know, I don't know, man. We live in a weird time, bro. I promise you. This is a very fucking interesting cycle. You know, 2018 proved to be a very interesting cycle. It's winding down. We also have good news about that. We have a New Year's celebration in New York City. New Year's December 31st, the end of the fiscal calendar year. I'm in business. I'm a business. I have my own. I'm a serial entrepreneur, meaning that I have multiple businesses that I operate, and I also work in conjunction with other brands and other businesses. So the end of the calendar, the fiscal year, that shit means something to me. I respond to that. You know what I'm talking about? Because I'm a small business. For people who just do the Aprils and whatnot and they don't fuck with that, I'm not here to judge you. That's what you do. But the end of the fiscal year, remember my year, my born day. That's my New Year's. That's when my New Year starts because the end of my year is on my birthday or my born day. And then my New Year starts right after that. And then the beginning of spring, which is April 1st, that's nature's New Year. That's the planet New Year. And I celebrate that as well. But when the ball drops, my nigga, yeah, I do that too. Talking about I do that as well. So we're gonna be doing a celebration. I'll be giving you information, further information down the line. Make sure you subscribe to this page. Like I said, this page has been rebranded. You're gonna see a very heavy branding campaign. You're gonna be seeing more live streams from this channel, from this platform. You're gonna even probably see the return of the No to Ledge Radio podcast and some other things. But in the meantime, go to ktlmedia.com, sign up for that off. That's our own server off of YouTube, so we don't got to worry about restriction. That's something outside of this is a web-based app, and it's gonna have exclusives, shit that you won't see on YouTube because we're not dealing with their censorship. We're gonna have stuff over there, and we're gonna be live streaming. We might be doing our live stream through that site for all of our members. These are all of the people who had the app. Go to ktlmedia.com. Okay? Go to ktlmedia.com. Sign up, and we're going to have everybody start to upload their own videos. This is going to function like a conscious world star. Think conscious world star. Okay? Maybe not conscious Vlad, because the format of the news and whatnot is not like Vlad. It's more like a YouTube or a world star. So work with us so we could work with you. And like I said, content is king. We're going to be curating the content. Anything can be uploaded onto the platform because of course we have to follow certain guidelines. This is about teaching the people. This is about reaching the people. We already been eating in enough pig pens, eating the intestines that they give to us, the chitterlings from the chitlin circuit, the minstrel show, the minstrel soup from the minstrel show. We've been drinking the minstrel soup and motherfucking eating the chitlins from the chitlin circuit on World Star and on other platforms that are dedicated to doing what? Gossiping, chatty patty, spreading rumors, fucking with stocks, distracting people. You know what I'm talking about? Activating anxiety, initiating stress. You know what I mean? Breeding envy, breeding jealousy, breeding hate, because you'll sit around and you'll talk about celebrities all day in a way where it's very jealous and envious type. You don't relate to going through anything in your life where your shit is popping, where you're living your motherfucking best life. Smile, bitch. But you always want to sit around and talk about what color lipstick a motherfucking Kim Kardashian is wearing, or what's her shoes and all of this, who made her purse. That just makes you a jealous, envious motherfucking person who don't realize that you could get that and plus more if you put your mind and your motherfucking body, and then your ass will follow. So when you're indulging in all of that, you're gonna be dealing with what is known as folly. And when you deal with folly, you know what I mean? You're gonna be doing niggas that call you a fucking goofy. And as you can see all around, that happens to be the motherfucking modus operandi with a lot of these niggas out here. Facts. You know what I'm talking about? And their motherfucking mammies. Facts. So we building, like I said, for the people that are working with us and not against us. Salute to you. For the supporters and the Patreons and the Kings County supporters, yo, I sold out this weekend. I had a suitcase and a whole big bag of items. These are the only two pieces that I might got left. Like, family was out there buying shit in bulk. Real talk. Y'all know the store's open. Y'all see the new Killmonger sweatshirts. Stop playing. Talk to me nice. See the new Killy, on the wheat to go with them Tims. You see the new Killmonger, and we got the ski mask. I don't got the ski mask with me right now. It's at the lab, but those are real serious with the 3M reflector on it. Then we got the glitters, the Kings County. This is the new logo that we're gonna be rolling with. All right, with the K and GZ, like the Nike sign, taking the vowels out, the KNTY, so that's 4 and 4. All right. I'm talking about. This is for kings and queens. Got it on the arm. These is on sale on the site too. Then we got your hood blinging. You feel me? We got the bling for your hood. You feel me? You know, the Uraeus, the Ankh, Tahuti as a baboon, and the owl. All of this is, look, wisdom, wisdom, life, wisdom. Come on, man. Talk to me. Then we got the sweatshirt, the crew neck. See the rib collar? That tight collar. This is a commercial break, yo. Y'all light up or something. You know, I hope y'all don't get upset if I light up, but it's that time of night. Like I said, I just came from the spa. I didn't, you know, I ain't been on my John Blaze shit. I'm letting my shit grow like Jay-Z. Yeah, niggas know you gotta know I'm working on something. If the fro is growing, that means I'm working on something. I'm on my Hova shit. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, this shit is fire though. This is super fire. I need to sell like 1 million of these. I need everybody with a sweatshirt. I'm gonna do some giveaways though for for some items and whatnot towards the end of the fiscal year because of the support that the family have given and whatnot. So look out for that. You know what? On some real shit. All right, let me see. This is a large sweatshirt. All right. And the hoodie is a large. I'm going to think of something before the show is over. And I'm going to do like a raffle. And I'm going to give out both of those larges, a large hoodie and a large sweatshirt, to somebody who wears a large. Just on this line right now is 400 plus people that's watching this. So I'm in the spirit of giving back. So someone who out there that wears a large, we're going to come up with some shit tonight for you to do or answer. You know what I'm talking about? And then we'll see if you're the recipient. You know, or if somebody wants to send some money to the Cash App and buy it, you know, at a discount. I'm on my Groupon shit too. Holla. We can make it happen, you know. But anyway, this is some, you know, just a little commercial break. We're going to get right back to the business in a minute. Just a commercial break. What do I feel about print on demand versus having products? I like both print on demand and products because it's Reginald. I don't do Reggie. I do all, you know, I do Killer. And it's not that GMO shit that Wesley was warning you niggas about. There's some real good shit. You know? This is some good. Yeah, but go on KT, go to kingscounty.bigcartel.com, kingscounty.bigcartel.com, and go and get you some pieces. It's hoodie season. We got hoodies. The hoodie orders been flying and whatnot. Everybody, this is the first of the month. So yeah, we'll be doing a lot of shipments. A lot of shipments are coming in. Let me share something with you about what they call the trade war. Let me share something with you about what Donald Trump is doing to quote unquote people who are entrepreneurs and are self-employed and who have tapped into what is known as the digital economy by enacting a trade war with China. This retard who's talking about make America great again, right? Which is interesting because when you look at the person who enacted the war on poverty, which was LBJ, who came as a result, who came to power as a result of the assassination of a sitting president, John F. Kennedy, right? He's the one who launched a war, a direct war on poverty. This is his quote, and I'll show it to you. This administration now declares unconditional war on poverty, right? 50 years ago today, Lyndon Johnson declared war on poverty. This was a real war, all right? The plan was simple. Use the political capital Johnson earned after the death of John F. Kennedy to press forward on a social agenda of ending poverty. So when you end poverty, who are you going to end? Look at this little tidbit, right? Look at this. Lyndon B. Johnson before the war on poverty. After spending time teaching impoverished Mexican American immigrants on the border of Texas and Mexico, Lyndon B. Johnson was inspired to bring an end to poverty. Where the hell did we hear that at before? Huh? How is it that this shit still coming up today, right now, and he was at the border all the way back then? In the border, the whole mechanism of us right now with the caravan, you know what I'm saying? And what was this war on poverty that he declared? And who the hell were these people that were on poverty that he declared war on? You have to ask yourself. And who declared the war on drugs? Okay, Nixon started the war on drugs when it was against the weed, but the war on poverty went to the war on crime. The war on crime turns into the war on drugs. The war on drugs turned into the war on terror. These are all wars that have casualties. That have casualties, you know, and we could point to where the bodies are buried in, and who these casualties might be. So these wars that are being enacted by the three-headed, the wars that were enacted by the three-headed monsters, Bush Sr., Ronald Reagan, and Richard Nixon. That's what we'll be unpacking in the lecture that we're going to be doing this week, Red Pill and Blue Pill. All right, look out for that. Okay, look out for that. I need y'all to support that. That's not going to be a freebie that we just jump out there and jump on YouTube. No, that's going to be streamed. That's going to be a live stream. That will be a paid webinar. So everybody that's following us on Instagram, if you're not following me on Instagram, EL_Filthmore, PHILTHMOOR. I know that shit is hard to remember, but just think Philip Thomas Moreland, and yeah, and go and follow it, because when you'll see the flyer go up, but I'm gonna put the flyer up on his YouTube page as well. So make sure you subscribe to this page right here. Just press the subscribe button with your lazy asses. You know what I'm talking about? Now that the page is called Know the Ledge Media, now I'm comfortable. I know I talked crazy before, but it's a different, you know what I mean? It's a different look right now. Now the platform could properly get put together and built up, and the membership drive could go ahead and we could hit that 100,000. So we could do some special things. So, you know, now that, you know, we're going to see some things happen. Yeah. So make sure y'all press that subscribe button. It's a lot of y'all in the room right now. So I'm giving you this information. I read metrics, my niggas. I read numbers and percentages. So help give me the information. Just go and press subscribe. So afterward, when I do the metrics, I'm like, okay, that's what's up. We good. So like I said, we're gonna do more live streaming, weekly shows. Because it's information overload. I mean, we got piles upon piles. It's so much stuff to build on. You know what I mean? And to do it for my own platform, I don't gotta wait for nothing. I could plug up, hold on. I got my toys and shit. You know what I'm talking about? I'm in a 4K business right now. You know, got my little baby. Yeah. Hey, shoot slow motion. It's like a drone camera. Shit is AI, my nigga. So this is a gig. You know how people have gimbals or stabilizers? So this is a stabilizer built in to a 4K camera, built in. Look, you can hold handheld, like you got a trigger. Yo, it's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff. We got KT stuff, his decoded. We got classic lectures like Blueprint 322. All of this content will be found on KTL Media. Okay. All of this content will be found on ktlmedia.com. So go and sign up to ktlmedia.com. Imagine the level of footage that's going to be coming on ktlmedia.com with a camera like this. This shit shoots film. So, I ain't gonna go ahead and sell their stocks anymore until I go and buy me some. But yeah, this camera's dope. And it was a gift. So yeah. I know, right? It looked like the MIB shit, right? Like I'm about to take somebody's memory. You do not see what you see. But nah, this shit is the truth though. This remind me of my boosting days. We call this the 8 ball. You know what I'm talking about? Like when you see them drones flying and they got the cameras, this is the camera that they got. This is the eye in the sky. This is eagle eye. You know? Yeah, so this is the eagle eye that you see in the sky. And we're gonna be doing some fun things with this. But anyway, also very, very powerful. It's gonna almost be like a chronicle when we do the year end, when we wrap up the calendar year of 2018. I will be doing a presentation entitled 13 Years of Runaway Slave. And this one is gonna blow you away, and that also would be only for paid members, patrons, my patrons, and people who are willing to pay for the pay-per-view. Definitely. That's not for YouTube. You know what I mean? Too much sensitive information. That's not for YouTube. That's for the members. You know what I mean? That's for the family. That's for the students. You know what I mean? That's for the KTL fam. That's for the supporters. So we'll let you know about that. Shout out to my brothers at Nicholas. We have a special announcement about Nicholas, Brooklyn, in the month of January, a lecture that we'll be doing out there. Is it January? Yeah, but stay tuned for that as well. So shout out to Joel, shout out to Monique, shout out to Nicholas. You know what I'm talking about? I look forward to that. And we got some other news that we're gonna share, but I don't want to let that out the bag real quick. But it has something to do with Brooklyn. Yeah. It has something to do with BK, the home of the motherfucking the original gangster, original gun clappers. So yeah. The next time we blue. I'm not sure about I'm not sure when the next time we'll be in Georgia. Blue just left Georgia. He's out here. We was just out there, but I'm not sure when the next time we'll be back out there. They was just out there last week all together. KT, his daughter's birthday was last week, so Mama Pill, Blue, KT, everybody was out there. So yeah, the lecture, I mean, I can't talk about all of the information that I have about these three presidents. I'm not gonna get all into the Bush narrative tonight. Y'all know what it is. If y'all don't know who he is, if you watch anything dealing with drugs, if you're watching any kind of narco series, if you're watching anything dealing with any kind of cartels, any kind of heinous acts of criminality in the name of drug dealing, when you think about that, think about him as being the Godfather, one of the Godfathers, or one of the hidden hands behind the scenes that were initiating, that were opening up that Pandora's box. And some of you niggas will praise that. Some of you niggas will put that nigga on a t-shirt. You'll make him a coke king like you make Reagan the crack king. But those of us with sense will realize what we're dealing with and who we're dealing with. And that's just one part. I mean, there's a whole bunch of shit, but nah. Niggas can't be telling me, oh, I don't vote because, and then y'all playing along with the Bush was a good man. Like, that's confusing. You know what I'm saying? That's completely confusing. But you know, I don't even got to get into it. We're gonna unpack that in ways that nobody has unpacked it. We're gonna do the family a humongous favor. We're gonna do our ancestors, the ancestors who probably have been, tortured and killed and disposed of and kidnapped and disappeared and renditioned and all of these things as a result of some of these characters that our people so blindly follow and praise and worship and look up to and admonish and give their energy and their compassion and their forgiveness and all of their, they forfeit all of their fucking sonic coins. You know what I mean? They forfeit everything. They're just willingly giving away their powers. You heard the sonic coins, right? So, you know, we can't have that. We can't have that. We're going to put everything in its proper context. This is about doing what with the narrative. It's not what Fox 5 tells you. It's not what CNN and Don Lemon Drop tell you. You know what I'm talking about? You know where you get your information from. You know where you get where you get the source from. So we're gonna put it in this proper perspective so our people can understand what these presidents mean to our people and what they've done to our, not what they, not conspiracy, not, oh, I heard this and all of that. No, nigga, facts. Like how we try to tell you about Jeff Epstein when we were on the Virgin Islands. We were like, yo, homie, they got a billionaire out here. His story about the shit that he's doing with young girls is crazy. And now we spoke it out, right? If anybody watched listen to the archives, go to episode 40, I believe. I'm in the Virgin Islands. I'm on St. John's, Lolita Island. Facts. This is all factory. Lolita Island. My uncle drove us around the island and took us on a tour and was showing us hundreds of acreage of our estate, our family's estate on God. I'm talking about, we got the content. Don't play with me. And he showed us Lolita Island and was like, look, that's where Jeff Epstein and them is. And I'm like, fam, I could see this shit from right here. It's a small island with a house on that bitch, with a boat. Like you got to take a boat to go over, but it's right in the middle of this lake. And then when I was like, well, when I was doing my research when I was going on In Too Deep, when I was doing my research for In Too Deep, I came across the whole thing with this Jeff Epstein dude. When I was researching the whole thing about the Clinton Foundation and what they were doing in Haiti and the rat lines where they were running organs, running sex slaves, running all of these things, the missionaries that were getting caught trying to sneak children out of Haiti, and how Hillary came down and saved her. The accusations of all kind of shit with the Clintons and the Clinton Foundation in Haiti. The whole thing with the Lolita, with the Pizzagate, When I got into all of that information and I tapped into the shit that will make you, the shit that people don't talk about because it's so heinous, it's so demonic. Niggas can rap about shooting each other all day. And we be like, I'm willing to see a nigga head get shot off. I'm cool with that. I've watched enough motherfucking spaghetti westerns, right? I watched enough Japanese, shoot 'em up movies to see a nigga brains hang, right? But the things that these pedophiles are doing, you can't unsee that. You don't want to see that shit. You don't see that shit. You have no idea the kind of the shit that's being done, but the kind of monstrosity that's taking place at the hands of people who have a lot of influence, right? A lot of influence and a lot of power, and they throw a lot of that money around. They let their money talk, and he got exposed in the Miami Herald. I recommend everybody go and read that article and share it with all of your peoples, because inside of Jeff Epstein's flight books or his flight logs were the names of some of the top people that you claim that we should go and vote for, like a Donald Trump, like a Bill Clinton, on so many trips. A lot of wealthy what you call it, tycoons and things of that nature, actors and actresses. So go and dive into that story if you're about investigating some of the truths that tie in the things that Professor Griff has been teaching about for many, many moons, when it wasn't even a TMZ, or it was never known to reach mainstream media. It was unheard of for certain things that were thrown out as conspiracy theory to even be in mainstream conversations, to be on the explore page. You know what I'm saying? To be at the center of the motherfucking barbershop discussions. We're living in a different day and time. We're living in a new era. We're living in a new age. We're living in this digital seated what is known as the analog age. We're going to talk about that as well. We're going to get into that as well. Griff went in on this shit, and now we're seeing it play out. Griff talked about how them alphabet boys is not just watching niggas, and they watch everybody. How is it that they watching everybody? How is it that they know whoever? They always know when somebody's gonna try to come and kill you, or they always know when your life is in danger. And they're always there when a lot of people get killed. They were there when Tupac got killed. They were there when Biggie got killed. They were there to talk. They were there to warn Takashi that somebody was trying to kill him, meaning that the feds are watching everybody. You said, what's the topic tonight? Hashtag no Bush December, no Nut November, no Bush December. Hashtag no Bush December. Hashtag Fear of a Black Planet 2 recap. Hashtag three-headed monster, the upcoming lecture that me and Blue is about to do on these presidents. That's the show. Episode 46. We've been doing this 46 weeks straight. Consistent. Go and watch the first episode we got on this YouTube channel. We got the whole playlist, so you can watch it all. You can binge on it and go get a checklist on how much shit that I talk about came to pass. How many things have we been on point with? Consistency. It's about the narrative. That's all I'm saying. The consistency establishes the narrative. It's not about celebrity. I don't want nobody to worship me. I'm not out here trying to beat on my chest like I'm some fucking guru or something, and I took some magic mushrooms and no. But I'm not talking down against the magic mushrooms because, another commercial break. Yeah, magic mushrooms, them shit's litty. You'll be in Astroworld. Like, it's lit. No, not that. But I'm just saying, figuratively, waiting on that new music. Woo. Yeah, that new music it's a problem. The old music is a problem too. I don't want to put out a lot of new music because there's so much fire old music. Like, I was just listening to a whole playlist of the songs Scorpion King with the Twin album and Cambada's Holy Ghost album. Son, like the music is crazy. I forget that I got crazy music out there because I'm out here doing so much. I really have to remind myself and lock in and listen to this shit and be like, yo, who did that? Like, nigga, you did that. Oh shit, that shit fire. You know what I'm talking about? That shit fire. If I could have been a full-time rapper, because people be like, yo, Red, you and your brother remind me of a rapper. I'm like, nigga, you're insulting me. When did a rapper do the shit that we doing? Rappers don't do that. Don't do that. Don't compare me to a rapper. No offense to no rapper, but the shit that we doing is you can't compare that. But then that's what, so, and we rap. We just happen to rap. But that music shit is serious. In 2019, the fiscal year, I'm going to be taking it a lot more serious. I have to. I have to. It's billions of people on this planet who never even heard Red and Blue Purple like Prince. That's a crime. Like, they need that. You know what I'm talking about? They need that. Twin the movie. That shit needs to grow legs. Like, I need that on World Star. That, like, there's a lot of people that need to see that. So it's work to be done. It's work to be done. But we building up the machine. The machine is ktlmedia.com. The machine is this YouTube channel. That's the machine. I can't look for nobody else to, put legs on these projects and to feed these babies and whatnot. I gotta put it on my shoulders. You feel me? Nobody is here to do anything for me. So I'm sure nobody is here to do anything for you. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, you gotta get it on. You gotta put that bitch on your shoulders. So I'm used to doing that. I've done that my whole life. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. So it's building. It's like I said in the beginning of this year, like it's just building time. You know what I mean? It's the building period. I'm still building. We're going into the winter, the hibernation time. Still building, still getting everything going, still putting out new projects. KTLmedia.com or the mark125th.com. That site is up. The mark125th.com, the marketplace that I promised the family. The same mark that we have been standing in front of for more than 10 years. Now it's a website. Now it's a marketplace that I own. Mark125th.com. It's a drop shipping site, and it's going to be open for vendors who are black owned, up and down the designers and business owners in Harlem and outside of Harlem. Small businesses, but black owned. The mark125th.com. Check it out. Sign up for that as well. We're having a soft rollout, but don't worry. Like I said, by the end of the year, we're having this end of the year party. And at the end of the year party, all of this stuff that I'm talking about tonight, we'll have a presentation to roll everything out. Y'all will know what's going down for the calendar, the first quarter of 19, second and third. Y'all might even see a trailer for episode 2. You know what I'm talking about? So, you know, let's just keep working. You know what I'm saying? Let's just keep working. There's so many people buying books. It's retarded. Like, I'm so proud of y'all that everybody is ready to get their information in their book. You know what I mean? Like their books. But so many people buying books. And, that's important because reading is very important. Leveling up on your information, getting information that you can't necessarily find because bookstores are closing down. The bookstore that we went to in Newark, anytime you're in Newark, New Jersey, let's stop talking bad about these cities because we don't shed enough light about the good things that some of these places represent, right? Newark, New Jersey, you gotta go to the Source of Life bookstore. Like, son, they had like I seen about 500 children's book, all black children's book. I seen about 100 black children's authors, 100 plus. I never knew that there was so many children's books I never knew it was so many black children's books out there about black things by black authors. I was blown away. So we got to go and support them. You know what I'm talking about? We got to go and support them. Source of life is the truth. All right, so we got books. Let me show you. These are some of the titles. This is Alchemy, The Treasure for Alchemists, 3 Alchemy Flags, various alchemical texts. This is the Kabbalah, Babylonian oil magic, hidden treasures of the ancient Kabbalah, Kabbalah for beginners, key to so many different ones, karma and reincarnation, nirvana, reincarnation, superhuman men, the ancient wisdom, supersensual life, the voice of the silence, transformation in consciousness, 4 lessons in yoga philosophy, a road to self-knowledge, a series of lessons in Raja Yoga. I mean, I could go on for days, but yeah, that's some of the books from the people in the book club that they have been receiving with their $20 for 20 ebooks. Like I'm practically giving them away. But you know, that's some food for thought. You know, what we do know is that we don't know anything. You know what I mean? And I'm learning every day. And I'm so grateful to be able to learn every day. Like that's free. What's free? Free is being able to learn every day. Free is being able to get your breakfast from a tree. Free is when I see you. Ha. And Ross, they melted what's free. Like, let's not hate. You know what I'm talking about? Like, let's get these niggas the props when they get it. Like Meek has transformed and evolved into what I predicted that he would evolve into. If you just go and watch me and Brother Rich channel 2 years ago, we were doing Tupac the Alpha Male and Meek Mills. That's the name of the video. And there was other videos where we spoke about Meek in extents. This is when he was not on his street conscious shit. This is when he was not matured at this point. We are there. And now it has come to pass. So if you go in here to championship, if you go and listen to championships, which is his mixtape, that boy done grown up. He talking some real shit, street consciousness. Like I said, the most that's the highest frequency of messianic force that the powers that be, that Nixon, Ronald Reagan, George Bush, and J. Edgar Hoover are in fear of. That is the fear of a black planet. The messianic force is the force that can create the black planet. The messianic force is not one person. It can't be one person, but there are influencers. There are people who will spark. There are people who will divine. They will wake up the motherfucking the divine spark. They will divine spark people. They will light the shit that's inside of them that you cannot. That's a fire that you can't put out. That's the messianic ones. They could do it with word. They could do it like how. And I'm gonna say this word and don't get religious. And you niggas don't get all don't get sulky on me and whatnot. But Hitler had a messianic force, and he was able to hypnotize, and he was able to raise up, and he was sparking the DNA of ancient Germanic tribes or ancient Germanic, whatchamacallit, warriors, or what they call the barbarians, right? And those people began to go to war and do war crimes in the name of their party. That had a result. That was a result of a messianic force. If you're a rapper and you put a video out and 300 million people watch it, I don't want to have this argument. It doesn't. It's mute, my dude. I don't put emotions about who I like because I don't like nobody. You feel me? I don't like nobody, if you want to be honest. But no, if a nigga's doing 300 million, he has a messianic force. If anything that he gets on is doing 10, and I'm talking about the Mexican, going back to The shit, because we dealt with that this weekend in Newark, New Jersey, when we talked about Takashi. He represents the deaf culture. He is the deaf culture in the flesh. And I don't mean like he's a nigga that catches bodies and he brings death everywhere that he goes. You have to you have to be a student of my teachings to understand what the deaf culture is, the perspective that I'm speaking about it from in regards to hip hop. Okay. When I speak about the deaf culture, I'm basically echoing something that Nas Escobar said when he said hip hop is dead. I'm giving you the scientific proof that it's a deaf culture. It died, and the culture that grew out of it, the culture that spawned out of what people deemed as hip hop dying, right, is a culture that is more pro death than it is pro life. And I've laid this down. Okay. And I've laid this down on a few occasions in lectures that I've done, right? And I'll do it quickly here when I identify the characteristics and the archetypes. That he has archetypes, he has triggers. Okay. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with archetypes. Okay. We're dealing with archetypes. So by him being Mexican, if you understand that El Chapo, the crime boss cartel, the head of the cartel, was in the same Metropolitan Brooklyn Detention Federal Center as Tekashi 69, real name Daniel Hernandez. This is El Chapo, my people. I was watching on Netflix. That nigga had a whole special. He has about 4 documentaries. And I think he was in a season 4 of Narcos, if I'm correct, with Rafa and Felix and the rest of the guys. The first cartel, the ones who were out during President when President Ronald Reagan, his vice president the vice president was George Bush Sr. And prior to that, he was the head of the CIA. And when he was head of the CIA, there were all of these operations, these quote unquote secret wars. These were black ops, and these black ops were transferring guns for cocaine. I'm talking about keys, my nigga. Okay, I'm talking about keys upon keys upon keys. You feel me? Looking like the key maker. And this is what this quote unquote president they call 41. These are some of the things that were orchestrated, and there are a litany of other things that we're not going to get into tonight, but we'll unpack when we do this lecture. When we want to see the root of some of the things that we're going through socially that our people are suffering from, homelessness, motherfucking mental health issues. You know, I'm talking about drug addiction, the fact that they devalued our neighborhoods and now they overpriced them and people can't afford to live in them. That's real fucking facts. That's real life shit. It's going on right now. I haven't seen nobody cook up no potion. You know what I mean? I haven't seen nobody truly follow up with a solid ass solution where it's groundbreaking. I haven't seen a lot of things that could be take place. And I haven't even seen it in myself. So I got to look at myself in the mirror too. And that's why I know there's so much work to be done. That's why I know it's so much work to be done. So, I mean, it's a lot being done, but it's so much to be done. I promise you. I promise you, to reverse the shit that's being done right now. Do you see the task that y'all putting on people's shoulders? And I don't got 999 patrons. And the minute the day I said that, the week later, that should have been a no-brainer. Look at what I'm up against. Look at what we dealing with. You know what I'm talking about? Look at the fucking odds that are against us, B. Are you serious? Look at the odds. We up against $1 billion machines, multi-billion-dollar conglomerates. The number one fear of the installation is the awakening of the minds of their black and brown citizens. There are memos. And like I said, I'm on YouTube. I'm not trying to impress nobody out in YouTube land by saying all of this information on this YouTube channel, right? That's being channeled in all kind of other places. I'm not going, you don't need to know everything. That's why we have removed ourselves into a more private setting, so we can speak to private individual about private affairs. There's public and then there's private, and you don't speak about private affairs in a public forum. I'm not an asshole, especially in these days. And I'm reading these federal papers like, bruh, niggas better have you better get you a federal dictionary and learn how to talk the lingo and what not to say. But what I do know, and what I don't have to say, I don't have to dance around any of the truth, because the truth is the truth. The truth don't owe no apology to nobody. You feel me? And that's what we're gonna give them. That's what we've been giving them, and that's what we're gonna continue to give them. The truth is the truth. When you speak about some shit and it comes to pass, that's called the truth. When you speak about some shit and it don't come to pass, nigga, that's called a false. A federal dictionary is a lexicon that we need to begin to understand certain things that you can't say, some of the things that you should not be indulging in conversational wise, because there has already been a federal edict put out against individuals who have a voice inside of what they call the woke and the conscious community, because they have documents to say that that is one of the greatest fears that they have, that the people inside of quote unquote America wake up to who they are, not some rendition, oh, Black Lives Matter, not to take away from that. I'm talking about really who they are, and really what this land is, and really who those people are, and the land that they're standing on is not theirs. And the corporations that they're calling states are not states. And the certificates that they told you meant something means something else. They don't want a lot of us to know these things. They're shaking in their boots because the challenges that they were faced with in 08, 09, 2010, 11, and 12 was washing them up, bro. And you got to be able to know, you have to do your homework. They were getting their asses handed to them in courtrooms and all kind of clerk offices and a lot of different places. Even online, they was getting washed, because when the conscious era came, when that wave came, that happened in it started in 08. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the online hip hop inspired youth powered consciousness. It was a different blitz. It wasn't the same. The elders was dropping bombs. They was carpet bombing shit. They was washing, you know what I mean? They was knocking down pillars, but the youth came in like Fortnite. The young niggas came in, headshots, Ali Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? I said the Duke of Tears, A.A. Rashid, Black Dot was shooting. You know what I mean? Cyrus Seti was shooting. Natural Tahuti was shooting. Wesley Muhammad came in as True Islam. He was sniping niggas. He was shooting. Umar came in shooting. You understand? They kicked in the door. Niggas came in clapping. Polite came in clapping. You feel me? Niggas came in hitting beat. You cannot deny that fact. And I'm talking 08 though. Remember, we're talking time periods. We're talking time periods like the iPhone. Shit be changing over the years. We're talking 08 though. 9, 10. I'm giving you that energy. 11 and 12. I'm giving you that energy. You had to be in that time to understand what I'm talking about. I might sound like psychobabble right now, but if you lived in that era, you understand that different eras have different frequencies and levels of energy, and different levels of information are being disseminated. So it's at a higher, people are vibrating at a higher pace. People are digging way deeper into certain kind of information based off of when that information may have been infiltrated, and that information, like how when you see an Agent Smith in the Matrix, when Agent Smith came into the Matrix, he somewhat poisoned it, he somewhat glitched it, he went you know what I mean, like he diluted it because there was an infiltration. So when these woke groups come that are government sponsored, when these Twitter finger motherfucking activists are created in the, you know what I mean, in some of the sweat houses or the sweat lodges where gay Jewish white men who are in control of media and Twitter and black Twitter and things of that nature sit around and start picking people out like D-Ray with the blue vest and other individuals who are handpicked and whatnot, then those are glitches in the matrix. Then individuals like Darren Seals and the individuals that we see in the place where the program started. This is all matrix talk. Remember, we're taking it back to the matrix basics. You know what I'm talking about? This is all matrix talks. So wherever that program was started, that was at the Mike Brown thing. That's when you get introduced to Black Lives Matter. That's the beginning of the woke movement. That's when it went online. That's when it kicked off. It's an outgrowth and a spinoff of Black Twitter and some other things, but it officially gets its start in the Mike Brown, not Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown. That media block was purchased by George Soros for 48 hours. He orchestrated the whole media blitz, and the fact that they handpicked certain individuals to be the shining stars. The real people on the ground, most of them are dead right now. Rest in peace to the brothers and sisters out there. So the individuals who knew the story, or the individuals who were there, who are not taking the bribe, or they're not cooning, they're not lying, they're exposing shit. Mysteriously, these people are being killed or dying. And then I'm sure that other individuals who may have a voice or who may have want to say something, they're like, I'm not saying nothing. What's going on? So I just want you to see it like that. I want to be able to paint that picture, and it's simply just tying shit in and letting you know that it's real in this field. The Agent Smiths have infiltrated into Zion's. What did they call the robots that were drilling through the ceiling? They called them the Sentinels. The same name that they give the tribe in India, who were what? Unconquered, unsullied, unchristianized, the Sentinels. But the Sentinels are the machines that work for the Matrix that are coming to destroy Zion, drilling through the ceiling. Remember, the Sentinels look like they look like what you would call it? Yeah. So the rise of consciousness, it's a force to be reckoned with. I don't know why. Squids, yeah, they look like mechanical squids. The rise of consciousness. I don't think y'all understand what the rise of consciousness has done to the collective consciousness of the corporation, the corpse, the dead corpse, the dead pledge, the corporation of America. I don't think that you have been able to factor in the impact of the collective awakening that has taken place ever since 2012, when their birth rate began to plummet the way that our ancestors predicted that it would. Who's lying? So who's talking about the truth? Why doesn't nobody even focus on facts that are being presented? Look, do you think I'm playing? Let me pull it up. Huh. Like I said, this ebook is gonna be on sale. It's I'm giving it away. It's really $100, but I'm pre-sale. Put that 20 down. You know what I mean? I'm giving it away. You know, this is top of the line research, B. Like, this shit is fire. Look at the cover. But people don't understand why these people are wilding out. People don't understand why, why there's all of this stuff going on. And I don't know why people don't get it. Hold on a minute. You see them Agent Smiths? Media, music. Well, first we got to go with the title. This whole shit is federal. Fear of a Black Planet too. Media, music, and a manipulation of the black mind. This child got real estate in the minds of black babies all around the world. Dummy boy from Wreck-It Ralph. Don't he look like Vanellope? He looked like one of them little characters from Wreck-It Ralph. He's the glitch in the machine. But wherever he goes, Agent Smith goes. So they were able to infiltrate the gangs with Tekashi. Remember? You don't think that they're able to infiltrate? They're going to break gangs up based off of the case study that they're going to come out of this story with. That's why they're making it such a media story. It's going to set a precedence with the feds. It's going to solidify the Federal Bureau of Investigations, criminalization and surveillance of hip-hop. Agent Smith on the backs of Neo. Agent Smith on a motherfucking run to knock off Neo, because remember, they got some shit with the feds where if they declare you to be a certain kind of enemy combatant, them niggas could push your wig back, or they could take you up off them streets. So he didn't bring NYPD in, he brought the feds in, okay? Just keep that in mind. And remember, when we deal with Tekashi, all right, I gotta fly through this thing. Here you go. Death rates rising. Why is not look? My thing is this: how could you have black politicians that you were telling me to go vote for, but there's a big conversation that should be had, and nobody's having it? Like, we have a right to know about what's going on with white men who are out here killing a lot of people in acts of violence and terrorism on the homeland against unsuspecting people. But there's all of these studies. This is big news in white America, but it's a secret in black America, or nobody is talking about it. Look, I'm gonna show you multiple articles. Death rates rise for wide swath of white adults. Study finds increases in deaths of despair from drugs, alcohol-related liver diseases, and suicide, right? Suicide, meaning that something is making them kill themselves. Okay, this is 2017, March 23rd, and it's the Wall Street Journal, right? Not the Daily News, not the Post, right? The Wall Street Journal. I'm not going to read mad articles. I'm going to just read some titles. What do that remind you of? These people are white walkers, y'all. Look, these are the white walkers. That's why you got these people right now talking about they ready to go purging. They ready to go kill something. They ready to go. They're already dead. These the white walkers. They zombies. This is from the Game of Thrones. Everywhere that they go, they're already dead. They're from the Caucasus, right? That's the Night King. So look, white and dying in America. The mortality rate among undereducated whites in America is rising, which explains why so many voted for Trump. Deaths of despair are surging amongst the white working class. That is 2017. Thousands of stories have been written about why angry, poor, undereducated white voters put Donald Trump into the Oval Office. Two Princeton economics released a study that sheds some light on how and why this happened. Look, white fragility is what is helping Donald Trump soar. White fragility, it's what is helping Donald Trump soar. So if anybody knows about my white fragility thing, about white supremacy being a mixture of white fragility, white inferiority complex, you'll see how they're catching on to the narrative. Why are white Americans dying off? Check these charts. The charts are alarming. Okay? The charts are alarming. But it's also alarming amongst black people too. Don't ever in your life think that the niggas don't have their own shit going on. Okay? All cause mortality rates. Right? Coins. Sonic. Shit. Just call me Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay? Just call me Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay? Them coins coming out. When I pull up, them coins come out. Look how it's dropping, right? In these other states. And look how it's rising right here. Okay? The US is rising, but it's dropping other places. Right? So what is it about this land? What is it about right here? Look, in Europe is dropping. The rates are dropping. They're not talking about this Brexit. The shit is Brexit. But it's rising, it's skyrocketing, right? Drug, alcohol, suicide, mortality, men and women, 50 to 54. The same men and women that their colonizer ancestors have left them a stolen land, right? That they're supposed to benefit off of forever. I know Brexit is the UK. I'm just saying. I'm utilizing Brexit as a figure of speech. That these Europeans are they obviously trying to do something to save themselves and reverse their mortality rate. But unfortunately, in America, what is it that's rising the mortality rate? What's increasing the death? What's fulfilling the prophecy? Because it only, when you look at it through symbological eyes, why is nobody talking about this? Who's invoking this? Who's putting this in the pineal glands of the populace in order for them to focus on what the hell might be going on? Because what if we want to analyze and study some things the same way that they done studied us? They study 1 million rats a day. What if we want to say, hey, what's going on with these Europeans and their mortality rate? They're dying all around us and whatnot. We need to begin to focus on them because it looks like they're not going to be around for long. And they're beginning to act as if, they want to connect themselves to some kind of energy source, because that energy source can also provide them with a lease on their lives. As we can see in advertisement, which is basically blueprinted by Edward Bernays, that they're beginning to show you hybrid families. They're showing you families that are connecting their bloodlines, different nationalities. In those ads that are strategically shot in place, you're seeing people accept the white seed and raising up the white babies. They call it the hybrid agenda. Sister Myra L. Barack Hussein Obama represented the archetype of the hybrid agenda. He came out of a white womb. Talk to me nice. We don't got to get all into the you know what I mean? Like, I got moderators. We will, we'll put the wrenches on you, family. But listen, he came from a white womb, so he's part of that hybrid agenda. It's what he was in the womb of a white woman, not the he didn't come out the scrotum of a white man. He came out of the womb tang of a white woman, of a European, and that's he fit the criteria for that agenda. Then Drake came forward in music. He fit that criteria. Henceforth, look at his success rate. Mix in also the constellational aspects of what Drake and Draco represents. But god damn it, that's that hybrid agenda. They're pushing that heavenly. So a lot of our sisters are willing to mix their seeds with different, they're willing to survive. They're willing to maintain the lineage of certain Europeans who wish to continue throughout, throughout time. And Elon Musk is one of their getaway drivers. He's trying to hatch ideas and plans and narratives for them to take that trip to Mars, but they're not going to be able to go to Mars without our melanin. They're not going to be able to go and take that trip without our women being in their families or having some of our children. That's how they're going to get there. And just you nigga, they got beef with the sun on Earth. So what you think they doing on Mars? Talk to me. They got beef with the big homie on Earth. He got them on the run. You know what I'm talking about? What if the flares from the sun done picked up, right? After motherfucking 2012, when the solar flares popped off, and that shit been cooking niggas ever since, like Paradise, California, and all of that. I know that Blue Pill broke it down. It was that they were laser guided weapons and whatnot. But goddamn it, what if the ancestors was behind that? What if the ancestors is behind this? What if the ancestors said that your time was up and they're showing you through science and all of these other things that are being very well hidden while they got niggas distracted with the Kardashians and they got you distracted with all of these black deaths on film, all of these remember, it's called war. 90% of war is deception. So as they got you looking at black death, you're focusing on black death. They're over here dying and whatnot, but they got you watching Philando Castile on Super Loop, and Facebook has looped it on everybody's page, and they put it in everybody's inbox. They blamed it on the Russians, and a lot of that shit was the people at Facebook doing a lot of fuck shit around the same time and whatnot, hacking niggas and sending out all of that. They was sending out a lot of that Black Death, like the video with the KKK hanging the sister. A lot of that was bots and trolls and whatnot from good old people behind the scenes at these social media platforms, right? So, and then you got to remember their AI is racist. They programmed the AI, and I show this in my lecture as well. Y'all got to get that into deep. We're gonna have the whole bundle of ebooks available very soon on ktlmedia.com, and we're going to have commercials on these videos on Nodal Edge Media YouTube channel, so you'll be able to know where to get the bundles of the books and where to get all of these books. These are monumental collector's items, I promise you, because the times that I write these lectures and these books, it's time stamped, so it's giving you a breakdown of an era that this new cycle moves so fast. You done forgot about so much shit. I go back on shit and I'm reminded and blown away. I'm like, damn. But then it makes sense because it's things that are at play right now. It's things that are at play right now. So I write for the future. Like Phil Valentine said, I'm really feeling right now, preparing you for tomorrow. And that's not no braggadocio. That's not me trying to make myself more than what I am. But I am a Heru, and a Heru is he who can travel from the future to prepare those of the now for a better tomorrow. I'm here to prepare you for a better. I'm here to let you know that a better tomorrow exists. They're lying to you. They have you in fear of a black planet. What Blue Pill broke down, what fear does to the body. Blue Pill broke down what fear does to the body. Okay? He shows stress related deaths. Why so many heart failure and cardiac arrests. Why so much all of this thing is related to the fear mongering and the fear campaigning. So and they remember what you focus on is what you give energy to. Is that not what they said consciousness is? What you pay attention to in the attention economy, what you give focus to, what you cry about, what you shed salt, what you give salt to the deities to, what you give them sodium. You're crying, you're out there marching and yelling and rallying, you're sweating and whatnot, you're shedding blood, you're getting hit with batons and bricks and tear gas and whatnot. So you are participating in this ritual and whatnot, and you're empowering Black Death, and you're giving life to Black Death, and you're crying, and these people are eating. They got forks and whatnot, spirit cooking and eating all of your. They drinking. They got them niggas got they got them thermocups, right? Catching all of your tears, and they just eating up all of that pain and whatnot. It's edibles. It's edibles for these motherfuckers. Meanwhile, on their side, their people is dropping like timber, right? Their people are dropping off and whatnot. They kicking the motherfucking that they hitting the road and whatnot. Their numbers are steadily rising, right? Look at that shit shooting up. Look at this, 2010, then it just start kicking up, right? There's go to charts right there. Total births minus deaths for white non-Hispanic Americans from the 12 months ended June 30th of year shown, right? Look at this. Is that not what the ancestors said, bro? Come on. Look at this. This is 2006, 7, 8, 9. This is all factory. That's why I don't try to just do some shit and I'm like, yo, take my word for it. That's why these lectures are so powerful. You think that I'm going in on the streets or on Melanin Monday? Y'all should see when I bring the receipts, my nigga. These receipts are undeniable. In the year 2012, the birth rate of white people went to negative. If that's not prophecies of so many ancestors, Mayans, motherfucking the Hopi, Elijah, come on, family. This is factory. This is not racism. This is not nobody like you don't gotta apologize at the water cooler tomorrow for the truth. This is showing you that somebody knew what they were talking about. That's what I stand up for. I'm out here. I'm looking for prophecies fulfilled. You know what I mean? And that's what I read. I read books, and when the books say, "Yo, in the year 2012, this finna happen," and I could show you scientifically. Come on. So this is the ebook. This will be in the ebook, and the ebook is also going to be the audio book. So you get the pleasure of hearing my my voice read the slides, break them down as if I was writing it with you know what I mean? And that's the audio book because a lot of people they don't want to read right now. And I'm good. I could get you that. You know what I'm saying? I could give you your audio book, but then there's some people that want to read and they want pictures and visuals, and I got you. I got you. Look at this shit. So I showed you the whole thing with Nixon and all of that. Now, this is what we're going through right now. This is what you got to pay attention to. Edward Snowden. Facebook is a surveillance company rebranded as social media. COINTELPRO 2.0. Coin is Bitcoin all the way down to the bag. From the Bitcoin to the money phone, to the bag, to the checks that niggas is busting, to the fraud, all of that. Tel is your mobile, it's your smartphone. It's the telecommunication, which is known as telecom. They don't need anybody to follow anymore. You got your telephone with you. They don't need nobody to telling you no more. You got your telephone with you. You're talking into your phone and they're tapped. They're listening to them. They know where you're going because they have GPS and whatnot, so they could track people. Your surveillance, your phone is a surveillance, Facebook is a surveillance, the gram is a surveillance, YouTube is a surveillance, all of these things, Twitter and all of that is open surveillance. Factory. Let's not play retardo. Let's not play dumb dummy boys. Let's be fucking the geniuses that we are. So coin is the bag, tel is the telecom, the telecommunications, your smartphone, right? Pro is the GoPro, it's the eye in the sky, nigga. This is pro. These are the cameras. They have cameras watching everything, traffic lights. They got cameras in the bodega, as you're seeing with the Takashi case. This whole thing right here, I'll show you. I'm gonna break down this whole thing for the Takashi thing. Coins, where they were following the money, where they were showing you where the money is at. They were telling you how much each one of them had in their money. They were following the drug dealing and whatnot. But they also had the thing was called asset forfeiture. So anytime they lock you up, anytime they bag you and whatnot, anytime the feds come and get you, they're gonna Jeff Sessions signed this law to enact asset forfeiture. It's not gonna. This is just information. I'm on my Rizza Islam shit. It's fact. I'm just giving you factories. I'm not gonna say they're gonna take you niggas motherfucking hoverboard and you know what I mean? They're not gonna take your Bluetooth dildo and whatnot. You should be safe. I'm not gonna curse you and say they're coming to get your shit, but I'm just saying that with asset forfeiture, they could take anybody's property just based off an arrest. I don't even think they need to convict people. So they're freezing accounts and all of that other stuff. Just be aware. I'm just letting you know. This is, word. This is things to live by. Telecommunication, right? So they're gonna show you the records of the phones. They were tapping the phones of the telecommunications of Treyway, Takashi, all of their affiliates, everybody they were calling, but they don't mention Elliot though. Like I said, all people who are conspiring with those people to do what? To commit crimes and also to spread the organization. Those people will be named in a RICO Act. So why is it that the label head, who is a Jewish man, is not in the RICO Act? He was the one who was providing a label. He was providing he was providing the finances. He was providing distribution. He was forwarding the product. That if Takashi is a negative product that could be federally indicted, then why can't the label head? Why is the label head Scott? Why is nobody even talking about his name? So when you hear that story getting talked about, just know that we talked about that here. I know I'm not the first one. I'm sure somebody else brought it up, but he is a power player, unlike any power player that you probably know in the industry. Quiet power player, very quiet but very powerful, right? So we might have just seen the infiltration of the game by these security, social media, surveillance companies, and all of these other people who want to brand a group of individual that they have a war against. The war on poverty is against niggas, hip hop, niggas that let their nuts hang, their pants hang, niggars with an ER and an AR, black is beautiful, hashtag Black Lives Matter, hashtag, all of these people, all of these victims that we are familiar with, the Europeans told you how they feel about them. So they see you the same way. The cold-heartedness that they show towards Trayvon, towards Tamir Rice, towards Mike Brown, towards Freddie Gray, that's the same way that they see you. Okay? And that's what they're letting you know. And that's some of the sentiments that's being shared. I'm not saying every single one of them, but goddamn it, enough of them. Pro. Go pro. The eye in the sky. So going back to what I was saying, that's COINTELPRO 2.0. You know what I mean? That's COINTELPRO 2.0. Like, what do that's at play right now. You got to be honest with yourselves. Like, if you don't think that if you don't think they're playing that hand right now, then I don't know what to tell you. But it's better to be on point than to not be on point. You feel me? I touched on this. I seen a clip the other day where a young girl was on stage in a school. I think she was graduating. She couldn't be no more than 5 years old. And she got on that stage and said she wanted to be a stripper. And everybody was laughing, and I heard some people clapping. Right? As a father of a 5-year-old, I found that to be extremely alarming, right? Hold on. Let me try I got this crown. Let me try my crown on. I found that to be alarming. Like I was bothered by that, right? So in a lecture that I did with Professor Griff, Fear of a Black Planet, part two on Saturday, I broke down this whole thing. This is gonna be in the book about how the devolution of black female hip hop has taken place. And with the black women being who she is, the mother of civilization, the black woman being God, the same women is raising the Takashis of the world, the Bobby Shmurdas of the world, and a lot of these young boys who are in single parent households, right? These black women get influenced by other black women because hip hop is such a male dominated sphere. Whenever a woman gets through, whatever she says, they take it for God. Her word is amplified because she's balanced and she's surrounded by thug energy, male energy, alpha male energy, warrior energy, boss energy. You know what I mean? Gomar, Oz, Dubar energy, generator, operator, destroyer, gold oil, diamond energy, Shakti energy. So they balance it out, right? So the first wave of female MCs that we got are Little Kim, right? Kia, My Neck and My Back, Trina, right? This is the 90s, right? This is the introduction to the whole prostitution thing. You know what I mean? Shorties being ratchet, getting on their thought shit, you know, setting niggas up, popping their pussy, all of that stuff. That's when this shit became accepted, right? Trina busted with Ain't No Nair when she was talking about Ain't No Nair bitch that could sell that pussy like me and all of that. Little Kim, as you could tell, she was pushing a lot of that just fuck 'em like a porn star and move the bricks and I only want big willies and all of this stuff. Take it in the buns and emulating a lot of porn stars of that day, Janet Jack Me and whatnot, named Janet Jack Me. So it wasn't really heard before where girls were that raw and promiscuous and proud to be it. Biggie was writing her lyrics. Foxy was a force to be reckoned with. You know what I mean? She was talking that talk as well. So this is the first wave, right? They had a lot of women under their spells. The Little Kim, they started listening to Nicki, right? They started listening to Nicki, okay? And the daughters of the women who grew up listening to Little Kim in the 90s, they fuck with Nicki. That was their new Little Kim, right? So Nicki Minaj is known as Barbie. She's a Barbie doll, okay? Nicki is a Barbie doll. So now there's a rise of dolls in the industry. And what do you do to a doll when you finish playing with a doll? What happens to a doll when you finish playing with it? Hmm? Yeah, Jay-Z wrote for Foxy, Nas too. You know what I mean? So these female MCs, this first wave, they had ghostwriters, some of the best writers that are known as the gods, that are top five artists of today. Foxy had Nas and Foxy had Jay writing. She had Biggie. You heard the reference tapes. So this era was ushered in by men as well. You know what I'm talking about? By men. So now we get to Nicki, right? She has Safari behind her. He's writing the rhymes as well. Lil Wayne ushers her in. It's the Lil Wayne energy that ushers her in. Okay? So that's what we see with that. So now look at this. Look at all of the dolls. You got Cash Doll. You got Asian Doll. You got Dream Doll. You got Cuban Doll. All of these are emulations of this girl right here. She's been cloned. This is a clone. All of these girls are telling your girls to be dolls. Dolls don't talk. Dolls can't do any. Dolls don't own businesses. No, this is not Shahrazad Ali. This is Red Pill. I got my crown on. Okay. Dolls don't talk back. You know what I'm talking about? Dolls don't talk back. So they look at these girls calling themselves, these girls are dolls now. Okay? These are dolls. Now she's pushing the whole plastic thing. So now girls are emulating this Barbie meme. They even said that your man right here was plastic. They say the version that a lot of the things that they say about Drake is he's like a plastic figure. He's not real. Okay. Then you have these women who basically are the offshoots and whatnot. They're not like Nicki Minaj, but they have a lot of appeal. Iggy Azalea is a twerker. She's trying to be like Nicki Minaj. She's a pop off. Azalea Banks, we all know her story. City Girls, those twerkers, we all know their story. You know what I mean? Then we get to this. This is where it's going. This is how this is I'm giving you a cycle. I'm just showing you how this whole thing has been orchestrated. This is by design. Okay. So these girls here are MCs, they're rappers and whatnot. They got bars, they make music and whatnot. Some people may like it, some people may not like it. Right. These women here, I don't know what they're doing too tough because I don't listen to really none of them. And I know, you know, Nicki Minaj, she might make some things wrong, but, you know, she got some flows and whatnot. But yeah, you know, but these women right here, they're not rappers. There's only one rapper in the bunch, bro. Okay. They have something in common, though. None of them are all rappers, but they have something in common: pornography and stripping. Okay. Pornography and stripping. Kim Kardashian is a pornography star. I showed in a lecture of mine, The Attention Economy, that's on Black Magic 363, that on the top for 10, I think it was for 5, or Kim Kardashian comes up as the top porn star. She is a solidified porn star. And this is nobody taking no shots against anybody. If y'all shop at Dash and whatnot, you know what I'm talking about? And y'all follow her on Twitter. I ain't taking no shots. Whatever. I'm just saying she goes down on the IMB. You know, her credits, to her credits, is that goddamn tape. That was her break. You feel me? That was her break. Letting Ray J break her off one. Black China is a stripper. Okay? She's a household name and she hasn't done anything but strip. Okay? She's a stripper. Amber Rose is a stripper who's known for her relationships and the fact that there were so many relationships that they, you know what I mean, that she decided to do a walk about it, and then she calls it the slut walk. Okay? She has a lot of relations. Okay? That she's known for her relations. Okay? And her stripper body and whatnot. Cardi B is known for being a stripper and a blood, and she got some bars. She's a triple threat. She's a blood. Bloods are viral. Anything bloody is viral. Anything bloody right now, anything bloody, any blood MCs coming out of New York, just the whole red aspect of red. When this is a bloody motherfucking country right now with Trump here and the rising of the red states and whatnot, the blood thing, the Mars energy, it resonates. Like, I'm red pill, so I could tell you that red is just strong. Like, you seen it with Takashi with the Bloods. I'm gonna get to him in a minute. She has a lot of things hitting for her. She's also part of the rise of the Brown Nation. You saw it with this little pump dude. You saw it with Takashi, and you saw it with Cardi B. You see, there's something and ties into what I was talking about with that hybrid agenda. The brown what they call the Brown Nation, but our Latino brothers and sisters, they are rising up. They are creating a very big wave in the music hip hop genre right now. Okay, she has a meme she has an energy that's behind her. But Yeah, that's what the little girls are emulating though. These are they're part of the beauty industry. They're also part of what is known as the celebrity industry and whatnot, celebrity worship and celebrity industry, social media, macro influencers. They're macro influencers based off of their followers, the amount of followers that they have and whatnot. So they are actual influencers of behaviors, lifestyles, mind states, state of minds, all of these things because of their status. So yeah, they could tell somebody read a book. They could tell somebody read this author. They could tell somebody make sure we crowdfund for this project. They could do a lot of things to help their people in so many other ways. But what they do is they utilize sex inside of this very sexually charged, sex craved. This fucking society right now is sex maniacs. Like, you know what I mean? This is this might be the most horniest as people have as human beings have been in a long time. Like this is a sex depraved and a sex crazed society, a pornography driven, which leads me to this, the merger of the two. Cardi B to be the first fully clothed feature female performer at the AVN Porn Awards. So the marrying of all of these industries. So what you see in the MCs and whatnot is not far from what you see in the porn stars. Because whatever club that Cardi is dancing in, they're in there right there with them. Like these are dancers. Strippers are dancers. And strippers are porn stars. So the marrying of and I'm nigga, I done met Pinky. You know what I'm talking about? I got pictures with Pinky. That's the homie. You feel me? She's on her conscience. Shout out to Pinky. So these women, these porn stars and whatnot, these are the archetype that is being marketed all around the world, not just to our babies, not just to our enemies, not just to our elders, not just to uh just everybody, even people who can't afford it. You know what I'm talking about? Like they're even getting solicited. So there's a lot of power in that. There's a lot of sexual energy. I know that could be contained as chaos magics and all of that, but at the end of the day, who's benefiting the most off of that? Is Liar Cohen? Does he know how to cut the cake? Does the people at Vivendi, Universal, and Sony are they the one cutting the biggest part of the pie? Because that's 63% right there. You know what I'm saying? Then the contributors, the other groups that you never know, they getting 24% because it's surely, they're not getting them everything like this, their bodies. But look at the people who are behind, you know, the culture. Look at them. We talked about them and people didn't understand what I was trying to talk about. You know, this is the architect. This is one of the people who wrote the code. This is one of the fathers of the culture, Rick Rubin. And Rick Rubin is on some other shit. All right. Rick Rubin follows Crowley. Do what thou wilt. And you know what Crowley talked about by influencing the youth, by capturing the minds of the youth, they will have control of everything. You know what I'm saying? He shows up a lot, you know, and he's responsible for the beginnings of Def Jam. But Liar Cohen takes the helm from him. He goes, this is produced by Rick Rubin. This is his producer credits. So he has an ear for death metal. He's one of the architects behind death metal and satanic metal. So when we're dealing with the 4/4 frequencies, when we're in the architects that are inside of our culture, that are basically that are the most powerful players in our culture, these people are, you know what I'm saying? They mixed up. They got his shit is long, you know. Um, then you get all of this satanic stuff going on, and then ooh, there's been a lot of tricks played on our people. Did you know what I mean? Like This was all an experiment. This was all an experiment. A lot of these people were not gangsters. You know, Cube, he was a very talented. Look what he did with his life. He became a star. So I wanted to just show you this one thing with Takashi. Then I'm gonna sign off. Now, when we talk about deaf culture, right? I don't want nobody to misinterpret, right? When we're talking about deaf culture, I'm doing a whole damn lecture right now, but hey, Cash App Phil Moreland, you know what I'm saying? Like, leave a tip at the table, you know what I'm saying? Don't run out and not pay your motherfucking bill. You know what I'm talking about? Phil Moreland. Like, what do we need? More land. My last name is my purpose, you know. But look, as a result of the war on poverty, we had the war because the war on poverty is the war on black people. That's code word for the war on these niggas, right? That's the war on poverty. They went to war on black people. LBJ went to war with the war on poverty right in the middle of Vietnam when he sent all of our strongest out there to get to basically not come home. And then he went to war with the rest of our people that were in poverty at home and started giving them food stamps, started giving them all of these programs, started basically, taking them into a place where they were becoming like subservient slaves, minors. And then the war becomes the war on drugs. So these same people that are being, in these programs, they get hooked on drugs. They become drug addicts or drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? They got you on both ends. They've created a funnel for both ends. They got a click funnel to get all the way to get you if you're selling the drugs or to get you if you're taking the drugs. So they've created what was known as the war on drugs. And the war on drugs have put so many of our people in a disenfranchised state of being. The fact that taking somebody's freedom for that amount of time is not only detrimental to them, but as you can see, is detrimental to a lineage of people. It's connected to a string of individuals because we're all connected to the fact that we can't just be throwing some of our best and our brightest into these fucking prison systems. You know what I mean? So the culture is reflective, right? The littles and the youngs, right? The littles and the youngs. There was a wave of rappers that started coming in, and they was pushing lils and youngs. Prior to that, there was the bigs. There was Big Papa, Big L, Big Pun, Big Baby Jesus. All of them died, right? Now, Spotify features over 8,000 rappers with Lil in their names, right? Spotify features over 8,000 rappers with Lil in their name. That's all of them right there. Like, it's crazy. There's so many Lils. Lil Play, Lil June, Lil M, Lil Eddie, Lil Young, Lil Toenail, Lil Pump, Lil John, Lil Troy, Lil Snoop, Lil Ro, Lil Flex, Lil Chew, Lil House, Lil Rufus. There's so many Lils. You feel me? So this is the deaf culture, right? The deaf culture means that these children are, embracing the aesthetic nihilism, not wanting to live anymore, suicidal, emo, depressed, right? Experimentations of pharmacopoeia, experimentations to try to find the source of what life is and not believing, rebelling against the matrix, rebelling against the code, being anti-establishment, or appearing to be like that, because some of them is as law abiding, but nonetheless that's what they're portraying. You know, that's what they're portraying. So the drugs and all of that. Drugs equal what? Death. Drugs equal death. It don't represent life. Let's be clear. Drugs equal death, right? Like I said, the hybrid agenda, they started pushing it with something new, the movie something new. Then you started seeing it popping up in mainstream, right? Ye and Amber, Sanaya and whatever, you know. Then they started coming with the buffoonery and the coonery. This is early programming, Frankie and Nene. Because niggas, we're deep into love and hip hop right now. But it started with these coons right here. This is the planting of the seed. You got to get to the root, to the root. You got to get to the root of things. That was Keisha Cole's mother, B. These chicks was always fighting and scrapping. This shit was a minstrel show, right? This was like a gangbang, a West Side Productions gangbang on VH1 with I Love New York. It was disgusting, right? So the merger of the cultures. There's no more the mergers. You know, the juxtaposition of where it's at. You know, now we're at this point. She hate me. Okay, that's where they got our people at. That's where they got our people at right now. Black women, their love of homosexuals, homosexuality, and lesbianism, right? This thing right here is a wave, right? We're just touching on memes into the deaf culture, right? This is a wave. Now look how they did us. I'm winding this all up to take it home, right? Look how they did it. Boom. Look how slick they are, bro. Look what they gave you. They gave you all of that in one person. I just laid it out for you. Look what I did. I gave you these niggas, the gang. I gave you the gang, right? I gave you the thug life, the hate you gave little infants, fucks everyone, right? Because all these niggas lost their father. Rabbit, Wayne lost Rabbit. Not all of them. Wayne lost Rabbit, a few of them, right? I gave you the young niggas that was tatted in their face, right? They was hurt. They was emo, right? Because that's what Takashi is. Takashi represents this whole generation. That's why he's a legend to them. And that's why they relate to them. And he's so super viral. I'm about to show you why. The drugs, right? I told you what that represented, the deaf culture, right? Right? Then all of this race mixing and all of that. Then all of the buffoonery, right? Then the rainbow. Boom. They go to rainbow, right? So the gang, which is the Bloods that I told you was mad viral. Anything blood is viral. The Mexicans, El Chapo, the motherfucking Mexican flotilla, the Mexicans coming across the border, the wall, all of the whenever you hear about Mexico, you hear about them killings, them drugs, them gangs, motherfucking season 4 of Narcos, right? The LBGT, remember, he comes in with the rainbow everything. He's the first nigga with rainbow teeth. Even the motherfucking most LBGT is rapper of the rapper. That nigga wasn't as innovative to get rainbow hair. So the rainbow is a meme. It still represents the LBGT inside of the deaf culture. So all of that equals Tekashi 6'9", the 69, the motherfucking 6 and a 9. All right. He's the deaf culture pro. Look, that's it in the flesh. That's it in the flesh. Bomb. There you go. Yo, that's the new, them coins is the new version of the KTL radio bomb. If anybody listens to our podcast, we used to drop the bombs. We're gonna bring them coin. That's the new bomb right there. But yeah, there you go. There you go. That's why he's so sticky. Look at what he got going. Look at his algorithms. The blood gang shit is an algorithm. The Mexican shit is an algorithm. The LBG, the rainbow shit is an algorithm. because all of the rainbow people identify with him and watch him, and they were low key, they infatuated with him, with his avatar, Tekashi 6ix9ine, right? Mexico wavy right now, Narcos. I'm gonna show you how wavy this little nigga is. I promise you, he's with El Chapo. He's more wavier than El Chapo. And he came out a year ago with Gummo. This was his breakout song. When I saw Gummo, I already knew it was. I said there's something about this kid right here. He's about to blow. That's a factory. I was telling niggas already about him. He's about to blow. Now look what him being in front of the camera, it gave all of these black men, right? It put them all in surveillance, right? So the feds decided that they were gonna let this character, this artist, push into the industry and go around the world and take this influence of the gangs with him, because it's a win-win for the feds, because they want him to influence more people to get into the federal trap system, right? They want people to fall in, because remember, the feds will sweep up 30 to 40 niggas. They take truckloads of niggas, right? There you go. The top drug lord in the world, El Chapo, housed in the Brooklyn Detention Center, the same place he was at. Tekashi was at the Brooklyn Detention Center, right? Busted by the feds for racketeering, facing life in prison. More press coverage, attention was given to Tekashi than El Chapo. Nigga, you don't hear about El Chapo. Is that a factory or not? This is the Santa Muerte, the Lady of Death from Mexico, the trap god that a lot of the gangsters, you understand? You gotta know what we dealing with, man. You gotta know what we dealing with. But look, that's enough for right now. You know, that's enough for right now. Like I said, this is a lecture that I'll be having available. Okay, the ebook is almost finished. You know, but yeah, it was fun tonight. We're about 3 hours in, so I'm finna sign off. You already know I got shit I gotta do. I gotta finish this lecture that I was just telling y'all about. So I'm back to work. All right. Third Eye Thursdays, we'll be back. We'll chop it up. Love and light to the family. Like I said, to the Newark family, salute to Professor Griff, Blue Pill, KT the Arts Degree, everybody that's out there, all of the family and whatnot. Love and light, honors. Yeah. Y'all stay up. Commercial before I leave. kingscounty.bigcartel.com. You know what I mean? Go get your sweatshirt, go get your hoodie, go get your early Christmas gifts. I still got sales going on because I want y'all to get y'all money's worth. I want y'all to get some stuff at a reasonable price. So take advantage of that window because it's not going to be open for long. Believe you me. Twin the album. Make sure y'all get that album. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can get that to somebody for this Christmas or the end of the year. One of the hottest albums of the year. Make sure y'all go get that. Twin the album. What else? KTLmedia.com. Go there and sign up. Patreon.com/Red Pillar. Get access to exclusive footage and get access to a subscription box and some other things. And yeah, that's about it. You know what I'm saying? That's about it. All right. Love and light to the family. Peace.